That's Noiseworthy.
Welcome in on this glorious Thursday. Barbecue Fest is off and running on the river. The bridge is not running, and we are now learning that according to the Tennessee Department of Transportation in their head, the bridge closure more likely months than it will be weeks. Wow, we got a big game tonight, FedEx Forum. That's the Grizzlies and Sacramento. The Grizzlies, by the way, 8-point favorites. I suspect they win tonight. They rest everybody tomorrow night. So they're ready for Sunday Showdown, which has now been moved in San Francisco against the Golden State Warriors. Prime time, 2:30 afternoon, Sunday, for what most likely will be the 8th seed in the Western Conference of the NBA. Brett Norsworthy, just a simple question for you, because this
I'll give you a simple answer, David William Woloshin, I promise.
It absolutely astounded me. How many tons of cargo travel down the Mississippi underneath that bridge, which is now closed, and by the way, it looks like it could be a couple of weeks for that thing to open up for the barges to sort of like shoot through really quick, I guess.
Yeah.
How many tons of cargo do you think pass underneath that river? Because your stats, you know everything.
No, I don't.
This is
14 tons.
No, not even in the ballpark.
Well, the Chinese rocket last week was 20 tons hurtling at us.
Yeah.
Didn't hit a soul. Nobody hears after it doesn't hit anybody.
Right.
200 tons.
No.
200,000 tons.
Closer.
300,000 tons.
430,000 tons of cargo every day pass by that bridge on the old Man River. On the
I don't know many people, but the few I've known in the barge business, there's a reason why they live like they live then.
Yes, 430,000 tons. It is phenomenal. You know that between those two bridges, it's about 100,000 folks a day. 100,000 cars, I should say. So we got 100,000 cars passing by.
I've been stuck behind every one of them through the years, yes.
I'm sure.
There's not a single spot of the interstate that I have not been set completely still between Far City and Flynn Broadcasting in the last 29 years.
I bet. I bet.
In every kind of weather you can think of.
And that stretch.
Ice, hot, cold, snow.
Seriously, that stretch of road between that and really Little Rock, I don't think in all the years that I have.
Our stretch is Cape Cabo San Lucas compared to between Little Rock and Memphis.
All I'm saying to you is I don't believe I've ever gone from Memphis to Little Rock without having some sort of slowdown with traffic.
Issue. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
there's
it's incredible, and you know,
it's how I develop the great patience that I employ every day.
You do. You employ it quite well. You did learn it from that drive. I am absolutely certain. And that's just amazing to me, though. 100,000 people, and I don't know. There's an app, by the way, that'll tell you traffic. And we're actually going to talk with our good friend Zeke Terry, Big Zeke, I call him, who is the production manager. And makes a lot of all the commercials run, basically.
Saints fan extraordinaire.
Yes, he is. And he makes the trip every day from West Memphis. So he's actually got a new plan where he's going to work twice a week, I think, from home now. It took him a little longer, so we're going to ask him about his adventure and some advice. We'll do that right after top and not.
Well, there's some stories out there too of people, with car issues, running out of gas, tire issues. I mean, it's going to be something over the next few weeks to months. I'm hoping they're saying months and it ends up being month. Me
too.
They're under promising and will over deliver.
If I were like the Department of Transportation, not the Tennessee or the Arkansas, if I were the Department of Transportation for the United States, I would make this a priority. I really would, because you've got the biggest river intersection in America stopped.
I think it's a national security issue.
And I don't know if it's the biggest, but it is a major intersection in America of east-west when you have to shut down this particular
FedEx,
bridge.
the hospitals in Memphis.
Yeah.
Just all the commerce. The commerce secretary should be involved as well, but start at transportation. And speaking of, right now, President Biden giving a full presser in the Rose Garden, and I don't mean this to be a wise guy. The roses look great. Those are beautiful behind him, and he's doing it mask-free per CDC today.
Wow. That's interesting. And the last
That's progress.
Last I looked, after yesterday's, or 2 days really, of the stock market not looking very good. The stock market
plus 500 today.
Rebounded today and is over 34,000 again. Thank goodness for that, because I went to finish my taxes.
433.
I went to finish my taxes yesterday, and my accountant was really worried about inflation and the way things are going.
Save more.
That was nice. I
know the difference between want and need.
Yeah. Back to the barge traffic, and now there's a worry if this thing lasts a long time that shipping costs are going to go way up.
Of course they will.
Cost of goods will go up, and there's going to be discussion again about a third bridge. But do you know the length of time and the cost it would encounter?
Getting it through the EPA
bridge?
And the snail darter and the trees and everything that from the legislation passed to fund it to the ribbon cutting, 22 years.
Well, they say to build it. I don't know how long it would take for all those steps to go through, but the cost is $1.5 billion, which in 2010, when they first started talking about it, so we're talking 11 years ago, it was going to be between 500 and 700 million. So it's tripled in cost. Okay, and they say just the length of building it once you've given it the go-ahead, 5 years. 5 years.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, in 2010, I thought we may have that third bridge about by now. I really did.
Yeah.
When boom time at Tunicas, we talked about the other day.
Yeah.
And what the land cost for the government to go in and buy it has gone up exponentially too in that time.
Somebody was telling me that north on 51 somewhere, and I'm not sure. Maybe it's 50, maybe north of the Mud Island, what used to be the airport there. I guess it is still the airport. That they actually have the construction site for a ramp, that it was going to go there and not south. I don't really know where that
I think it goes south to tie into new I-69, kind of the Houston to Indianapolis.
That would be
interstate.
Perfect. Yeah. Now that does make sense to me for sure. If that indeed was the case, and if this area gets bigger, that would be really a wonderful thing. I don't know what this does to the bridge at Helena or the bridge in Dyersburg. Will those two bridges get a lot more traffic now because of this closure?
We'll have to get some. I mean, you'd think truckers coming from Little Rock would jag toward Helena, and that's a very narrow bridge.
It's 4 lanes, though,
Helena.
isn't it?
I think so.
I think
it's
is
tight.
Yeah.
From my house to Oxford, it's about 8 minutes faster to go that way. But I quit going that way a long time ago because late night driving and narrow road. But I did it once last fall just for old time's sake, and that's a tight drive.
Well, you may be doing it now because we know it's going to take a little bit longer. And again, we're going to hear from our good friend Zeke Terry in just a couple of minutes as to what his
so you want to get rolling on top of night
today. Yeah,
okay.
Let me give the rundown. We got Teresa Walker coming up from AP, and she's the award winner, and she just had a child graduate from, I think it was college. We'll talk to her about a whole bunch of stuff, but mainly the reveal of the Tennessee Titans schedule last night,
and Preds. We'll talk about.
We can talk some Preds.
For all 8 people interested.
I don't like talking Preds.
I'll talk Preds all day.
Hey, I know you will. Preds. They did in my Blackhawks. It killed them. we will have Keith Smith on. I really want to go over, because I don't think everybody quite understands the way the play-in to play-off scenario works.
Dave, I'm with you, and that's why we started. I know you might have been at Dallas NIT, but we started then having Keith go over it again, because a lot of people thought it'd be 7 versus 10 and 8 versus 9. No, it's not close.
No, so we'll go over that with Keith Smith, and Paul Rogers will give us the lowdown on the Preakness, and we do know Medina Spirit is going to be involved. Greg Gaston will talk Tigers. That will come your way at 5 o'clock, top of the hour. So as always, we are busy. Yeah.
Yeah, we are. Hang on. This hour brought to you. I thought you were going to give Drew the signal for top. No. This hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call, 901-362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity May sales event. They have been busy, and they appreciate it. Great offers on all 2021 models and always special lease options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2021 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, I mentioned that is the Grizzlies and Sacramento tonight, but here's a little wrinkle. I don't know if you saw this, Brett Norsworthy, but New York Post writer Mark Berman had a story today in the Post that basically says he hears whispers in Memphis that the Grizz may not be so sold on Jaren Jackson Jr. They're concerned about his durability, and his father, Jaren Jackson Sr., he's been hired by the Knicks G League team in Westchester, the Westchester Knicks. And do you know that his agency CAA and his agent was Leon Rose? And Leon Rose is now president of the New York Knicks, so there is that relationship. And Mark Berman warned that if there is not an early extension of Jaren Jackson Jr. by the Grizzlies for his 4th and final year next year, that the Knicks could gobble him up. And I'll give you this. Since Jaren Jackson Jr. has been back, his record as in games they have played is 3-6. In games he has not played, they are 4-0. But as a starter, when he plays, they are 2-0. But you got to look at that. 3-6, 4-0. Interesting for sure.
I know somewhere during Jaren Jackson's time I said if he left after the 4th year, we would not have seen him very much. He has not played in very many games at all, in very many games at FedEx Forum. My top story, first of 2 for the Grizzlies against Sacramento, and this one tonight's the next to last home game of the regular season. Tomorrow night, the second one against the Kings, will be the end of the season. The curtain will fall on the 2021 season. Will there be home playoff games? To be determined. Will capacity be raised by the health department for home playoff games? To be determined. A lot of basketball to be played, just not much left in the regular season to be played.
Well, I hope so. And good sign of that was, as you just said, a man who's been very diligent about wearing that mask when needed. The President of the United States, Joe Biden, was not wearing one in the Rose Garden just a while ago. So,
Dave, I just saw Sanjay Gupta on CNN, and he said, since COVID started, since the virus began in the United States, whenever you want to mark it, November, December of 19, January, February, March of 20, whenever you want to
we usually use it as March 11th, okay. Rudy Gobert.
Okay. He says there has not been not a single transmissible case of the virus from anybody outdoors. Not one.
Wow.
Sanjay Gupta. Not one.
If that's from
Let's
Gupta
get outside. Open these ballparks.
On CNN, that is a major declaration. That is the top story of the day at this particular point.
Not top story of the day.
Well, this is still a good story. It's not a bad story. And I got to give, and I can't remember his name. I can't remember his last name. There's a young man named Matthew and his father. They do the Bartlett High School sports stuff. And they are passionate about it, and they do a really good job. And I heard the last pitch of the District 14 AAA second-round matchup with Arlington High School when a young man named Jackson Irwin pitched a perfect game last night. Bartlett a winner 12-0. He had 9 Ks. And obviously, if you're doing this in the second round of the playoffs, you know Arlington is not chopped liver. They're a good team, and he threw a perfect game last night. Congratulations to him and to Matthew on his call.
Good deal. Good deal. My not top story, NFL Week 18 this year. 18 games this 18 games this year, or 18 weeks to play 17 games.
Yep.
So here's Week 18. Games in Buffalo, Cleveland, New York, Philly, Denver. Those games are going to be played on January 9th. And then the playoffs will be played the weekend of the 16th, 23rd, and 30th. There's going to be some all-time cold weather games.
Yeah.
Buffalo and Green Bay, potentially for AFC and NFC championship games on Sunday, January 30th. Mercy.
Brett, it's a man's game, for goodness sake. What's a little cold temperature? Come on, it's the National Football League. Surprised there was nothing in Soldier Field that late. And what is it? The AFC gets the home field advantage on all the 17th games, so that next year the NFC team gets the home field advantage.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is that how they're doing it?
Yeah, I think that is how they did it. So the Bears had to be on the road that day. But you said was there a game last game on again? Well, it doesn't have to be the 17th game. Oh, it would be, wouldn't it? So where's Green Bay? Did you say Green Bay was?
They're not. I don't think they're at home that week.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's right. So it's all AFC. So that would make sense with Buffalo for sure. What was the other one that you gave that would be
Cleveland, Denver.
Yeah. All AFC. So that does make a lot of sense. Those are our top and our not top stories. So one of our favorite guys in this radio station, Big Zeke Terry, who is the production manager and a guy who makes sure all the spots are on. He was noticeably absent yesterday, did not make it in. He lives in West Memphis. He uses the bridges every day to get here. So did you even try to come yesterday, Zeke?
Yesterday, no, I did not even try to come in. I was actually working from home yesterday. And in fact, I'm going to be working from home a lot. I got everything. In fact,
we'll miss you.
Yeah, like you've been here
you
that
might
much.
want to boost the volume of your mic just slightly.
Okay. Well, it's Drew's doing.
Yeah,
I'm going to blame him.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Come on, Drew.
Well, he can't help it. He can't even hear you right now.
I know.
But, the engineers just worked on stuff today so that I'll be doing a lot of the stuff from over on the other side of the river.
So give me your adventure today. What was it like getting here, obviously over the old bridge, the 55?
I actually left the house at 6:30 this morning and got here at 7:45.
What normally would be the amount of time?
About 30, 35 minutes,
so
on a good
double.
day.
So we're talking 45 extra minutes.
Yes, yeah. It was, now, again, that was because it was early in the morning and there wasn't a lot of backup. But here's the thing, though. Now, I'm going to tell you all out there right now, there is a handy-dandy app.
Yeah, I want to hear about
that you
this.
need to download. It's called Sig Alert. I use this every single day.
That is SIG, like signal?
Sig Alert.
Alert.
Yes. Now, according to Sig Alert, right now, the backup coming eastbound on I-40, it's past the split on the other side of West Memphis, okay? In fact, it is past College Boulevard, which used to be Airport Road. It is almost...
That's the way station.
Yes, it is almost at Lehigh. That is
So-
where the backup begins.
For those of us
40.
who do not drive this every day, like our friend Brett Norsworthy,
Yeah.
when we're going toward Little Rock, we get on 40-55 over either bridge.
Yes.
And then there is a split to go to Little Rock to your left, and you would go sort of straight north on 55 if you were going to St. Louis. You're saying it's past that on 40 where all that begins.
And it's past Marion on 55 coming in. Yeah. Now, the reason for that, for a lot of people that use the I-55 bridge, when you come across the bridge, you have to be in the right-hand lane because only that one lane turns onto actually 55.
Well, now you got all you can do is take 55.
Yeah, that's so you're
saying it's backed up to Marion
past
Marion,
55
on 55 and all the way
almost
past the split on 40.
Oh yeah, it's almost to Lehigh on 40. Now going into Arkansas is much better because you actually have 2 lanes that go onto the bridge instead of just one. So it's not as bad going into Arkansas as it is coming into Tennessee. So make sure you pack some patience if you're coming into Tennessee. That's all I got to say.
And this is going to be for
months.
A while.
That's what they're saying. It's going to be months.
What do you think this does, seriously, to Southland Greyhound Park?
For the dedicated, it's just going to add a little extra time. The big thing is when you talk about medical emergencies.
Yes.
Because what they're going to be doing now, and this is what I've heard, is that any emergency is going to be going to the Baptist Hospital there in West Memphis first. And then what they're going to do is they'll transfer any kind of trauma by helicopter to Memphis. And anything that's not trauma but still needs, intensive care is going to be sent to Jonesboro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they were doing a bunch of that actually in COVID.
Yes, they were doing
sending
that.
People there.
They were doing that in COVID, and they were also doing that during the snow and ice storm we had back in February. So,
wow.
But yeah, just pack your patience if you're coming into Tennessee, or come really early, or really really late.
Yeah,
All right, Zeke, I downloaded Sig Alert, and it gave me traffic for Los Angeles. How do I get it to Left Memphis in Memphis?
You're going to go into it, and you're going to
my guy,
scroll
Brad,
all the way
Thank you,
over. You're going to go all the way over. Keep going east. Keep going east.
I'm headed east, man.
Keep going.
I'm over New Mexico.
There was a
you're gonna
band,
keep
by the
going.
way, called Head East.
Yeah,
I got some of their
There's never been
songs.
any reason for that.
Yeah, that's right, Zeke. That's right.
You're going to keep going east until you get to Memphis.
I'm headed east. I'm over New Mexico. So just get all the way to our area, I guess.
Just get all the way over to our area, yeah.
Zeke, you know how I am with technology.
I know. I've had to help you many times.
Yeah, wow.
You have, and you have.
But Sig Alert would be good, and I guess if we're going to get used to this, it'll probably get a little bit quicker, but what normally would take you 30 minutes may take you an hour now, basically.
An hour or more. Just like I said, just pack your patience. That's the main thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
Sure.
We appreciate it. I know
Thank
we
you, Zeke.
won't see you for a couple
Go
of days.
Saints.
And thank you very much. Which, by the way, as soon as I leave here, I'm getting on the road and going home.
Get out of
Text me when you get home.
I'll do so.
Text me so we know how long it took.
Thank you,
As
baby.
you're saying,
Yeah.
it should be about 30 to 35 minutes
Normally.
Yeah. And we know it took you an hour and
about an hour and a half.
An hour and a half to get here.
And that was at 6:30 this morning.
Right. So we'll see what it's like on the way home
Yes,
in the afternoon.
All right, man.
That is Zeke Terry. We do appreciate it. I am sitting here in the Family Leisure Studios, and I got to tell you, I went to Family Leisure today because I had to pick up some pool chemicals. As my pool is starting to really look good, and so is all that beautiful outdoor furniture. I use my yard because I have a whole bunch of patio furniture that I got at Family Leisure. And I'm reminding you because they reminded me today, and does that place look beautiful, by the way? It's the best looking I've seen Family Leisure. But they reminded me they're going to run out of pools again. So if you want to be sure that you have the pool you've been waiting for your backyard, please head to Family Leisure. Same thing with spas. They got a bunch of those in stock, ready for delivery. That patio furniture I told you about, there are some select sets. You can get up to 20% off. And don't forget about swinging into spring for the youngsters with a brand new play gym with professional installation available. And I always recommend you do that. I recommend you just go look and see what's going on there because it is fabulous. That's Family Leisure, where family and fun do come together. We take this quick time out. We head to Nashville momentarily. Teresa Walker from AP. She comes your way in just a minute.
Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy get you through lunch daily from 10 to 1.
Well, lunch is served.
Only on Sports 56, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Did you know Prilosec OTC can stop frequent heartburn before it begins? Yep, I said before. Block heartburn at the source by taking the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. With just 1 pill a day, you get 24-hour heartburn relief. That's all day. Start the 2-week challenge today at PrilosecOTC.com and live heartburn-free. Just 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, I started the first micro distillery in the state of Texas with my dog, Dog Joe, at my side. We're still working with dogs out at the distillery after all these years. Learn more about how dogs are a part of life here at Tito's Handmade Vodka at vodkafordogpeople.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County. Get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Looking for a great place to deposit your money? Try First Bank. Competitive CD rates, a money market that moves with Wall Street prime and interest-bearing checking account options. Not to mention their friendly bankers who make decisions locally. To find out more, stop by one of First Bank's 3 local branches. 6482 Poplar Avenue, just east of International Paper. 8398 Highway 64 across from Wolf Chase. And 6280 Highway 64 in Oakland. Or visit firstbankonline.com. Member FDIC.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stat. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Wolochen and Brett Norsworthy.
I don't know about kicking around, but kicking off, we know. The barbecue contest has kicked off. Kind of kicking myself for not figuring out how to get down there. I know they've actually sold out the tickets for day. It's limited, but that's always a cool sight to see. That is for sure. They announced all the kicking off times for the National Football League yesterday. That's why we can't wait to talk to our friend and the award-winning AP writer from Nashville, Tennessee, the one and only Teresa Walker. Teresa, we haven't talked to you in a while. How are you? I saw, was it your son that graduated college, and somebody did really nice for that. Sort of go over what happened.
Well, yes, my son, he walked at graduation at UT this last weekend, and he was actually ill on the Saturday morning when he was scheduled to walk, and thank goodness. I'll say this, University of Tennessee had things ready for emergencies, and we were able to get him in, and he walked on Sunday. And I'll say this, as a graduate of class of 87 at UT, I like what they started this year as the new tradition. It was the first graduation ever outside at Neyland. And they played Rocky Top to wrap it up and tossed caps there.
Uh-oh.
That was really pretty cool.
Oh, okay. So we lost you there for a second, but I'm assuming that on cue, when they played Rocky Top, that all the graduates hurled those hats in the air.
Well, absolutely. That was the design.
Yeah.
So a really nice piece for, because it's been such a crazy year, all the kids having to do online classes, the Zoom, and they were able to mix in a few hybrid classes this spring. But I mean, it's just been a year, so to be able to let loose with us outside, it was a nice little break. and moment of something normal in a year that hasn't been normal at all.
Right.
We'll take anything normal. Teresa, it may have been around your freshman year. It wouldn't be any later than your sophomore year. But I remember an NFL preseason game in the early 80s played at Neyland. Do you remember that?
Well, I do. And actually, I went to the local department store when the Steelers were playing somebody there. I can't remember.
The Vikings, maybe?
Game.
I was at that game myself. I don't remember, but there was a Memphis contingent. I can't remember why.
Oh, yeah.
But we flew over there for that particular game. Maybe it was at that point.
It was big. We thought we were close.
Yeah, I think it was at that point. That might have been with Billy Donovan, or it might have been, I don't know if it was, I can't remember who it was with, but there was absolutely, Memphis was there to talk to the NFL, no doubt.
Because I was in Washington. It was a big kickoff party the week before that with the entire Mid-South congressional delegation. Pete Rozelle was there, and you know, all the Pooh-Bahs were there, and then that game was coming up. But I'm with you, Teresa. I think that's a good tradition for UT to have, and we're a long way from a preseason game at Neyland to the Titans now a mainstay, and Mike Vrabel, who has been a mainstay in the playoffs, and I think the expectations are high for the Titans in the season of 21, aren't they?
Brett, I think they absolutely are. I mean, now right now the Titans have 5 straight winning seasons. Only 2 teams. But you know, let's be honest. After the AFC Championship appearance a year ago, people are expecting a little bit more. Now, the big thing that I think sets them up for a chance to, you know, defend their AFC South title and maybe get a better seed this year is that they have totally revamped the defense. You know, think about this: Derrick Henry. You know, the Titans were the first NFL team to have a 2,000-yard rusher, a passer throw for at least 3,500 yards, and an offensive line that allowed just 25 sacks or fewer. Titans did that. You know, offense is not their problem. You know, they were tied for second in yards, fourth in points. The defense was the big drag on this unit. I mean, they were dead last on third down conversions. They were next to last. Well, they were last through 15 weeks of the season, and then they managed to get some sacks of Deshaun Watson in Houston to barely finish ahead of Cincinnati and Jacksonville. So this is an area that they absolutely have areas to improve. 7 guys who started at least 3 games last year gone, including Jadeveon Clowney, who didn't provide even 1 sack through 8 games. So good luck, Cleveland. And then they bring in Bud Dupree and Danico Autry on that front line, and then they bulk up in the draft. They've signed as a free agent Jackrabbit Jenkins and Kevin Johnson. So, you know, they've added some linebackers. So this defense got so much younger.
Love Bud Dupree. Love Bud Dupree. And the Steelers, I won't call it a collapse, but the Steelers from undefeated and then that late season swoon, there were a lot of contributing factors, but his injury was a big one.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, there are people who are thinking, oh, the Steelers will be just fine. They got T.J. Watt. Well, there are others who look and say, you know what, T.J. Watt wasn't T.J. Watt without Bud Dupree. And the thing about Bud Dupree, you know, this is a guy, this isn't, you know, Jadeveon Clowney's been in this league a little bit, right? He's now on his 4th team with Cleveland, 3rd last year with Tennessee. Bud Dupree, this is a time where you want to get a guy. You know, they couldn't afford to keep him with all the money issues that they had up there. There's a reason Ben Roethlisberger reworked his contract. So he's a young player, and they get him coming in and hope to, you know, be getting him literally in his prime. And they've got you know, poor Harold Landry played so many snaps last year because nobody could help. You know, they didn't have depth. They didn't, you know, when they had to cut Vic Beasley because, well, he was nothing, and then Clowney goes on IR, they just didn't have much to help him out. Now they have help. Jeffrey Simmons is going to have help with Danico Autry there. You know, and then that secondary, guys, think about this. A very expensive secondary. Kenny Vaccaro's gone. Malcolm Butler, you know, Dory Jackson. They were all salary cap cuts. And what you bring in, you still have Christian Fulton, who was a 3rd-round pick last year out of LSU. You have Caleb Farley coming in, a guy similar to Jeffrey Simmons. It's not for the, you know, the questions about the second back surgery, which, you know, he's going to have to prove he can play, right? But the fun part is this. If he is healthy, it was the same back disc that he hurt in a lifting incident. They just thought that time would help it recover. Turns out he needed to have it fixed in March. He's expecting to be ready for training camp. Might have been in the top 10 first cornerback off the board. if not for those questions. So you bring him in, Jack Rabbit Jenkins, Christian Fulton. You also drafted Elijah Molden out of Washington, son of Alex Molden. So, he's very familiar with the NFL and the expectations at this level. So, they've and then the linebacker depth, they brought back Jayon Brown, Rashawn Evans, he's in they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. He's going to have to show it, but they've bulked up. Last year their depth at linebacker guys, well, Will Compton, Darren Bates, mostly special teamers. They also got a restricted free agent off of the Steelers, and I'm not even going to try to say his name, but they got younger at that position as well. So they should be faster. They should be more. It's not going to be tough to get much more out of them. They were 29th against the pass last year, 28th in yards allowed per game. And they brought in Jim Schwartz, former Eagles defensive coordinator, former Lions coach, former Titans defensive coordinator, to be a defensive assistant to help this team. So they've got to be better than last year.
You saw the release of the schedule yesterday. Arizona is who they start with. That'll be a heck of a game on Sunday, September the 12th. I noticed 3 of the first 5 games are on the road. Then you got a Monday night game when you come home against Buffalo. That's the way the year begins. Anything that really sticks out in your mind about this schedule?
And what did you look at first, Teresa? What do you go to first?
Primetime games. And then I look for, how many games at home to start the season. And being at home, they've got 2 home games in each month, September through December. But that first month is going to be tough. And then we're going to know exactly what this team is by midway of the season, because, after they have those road games, then they come back. They've got a 5-game stretch that is just going to be really tough. It starts, I think, with at the Colts. And then I think it's at the Colts. I'm still trying to get the schedule
at Colts, down. At Rams, then the Saints, the Texans, and then at New England.
Well, that's actually go a little bit before that. October 18th, Monday night game against the Bills, and then October 24th, the Kansas City Chiefs come to visit.
That's right.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They're pretty good. So we'll find out quickly how much improved this defense is. And, and we'll find out about this offense. Corey Davis is gone. Johnny Smith is gone. They'll face each of those teams, the Patriots and the Jets this year. But they could also face maybe, 3 or 4 of the rookie quarterbacks that were drafted in the first round. So, but I'll just say this. This is a system, I've heard somebody say, well, there's going to be a difference there. They're replacing Arthur Smith at OC. Well, Todd Downing has called plays in the NFL before, and the system in Tennessee is pretty simple. Make sure you're giving the ball to Derrick Henry early and often. That was something that Arthur Smith kind of learned in that first year. Where they started clicking as an offense, yes, Ryan Tannehill came off the bench, replaced Mariota, but Arthur Smith started giving the ball more early and often to Derrick Henry, and that seemed to really help this offense. That combination helped them really click.
Yeah,
a whole lot of 22 is a good plan.
I don't know if you can do that all the time, though. For too many years, that's for sure.
I don't either, Dave and Teresa. I love him, but when I see him just never dodge a soul, everything's full tilt. I think of Earl Campbell and go, young fella, you don't want to be like that. Dip it out of bounds.
Yeah, but you know what? Talked to LaDainian Tomlinson in December, and he said one of the things that's always jumped out at him about Derrick Henry is how he's not really getting tackled a ton. Remember, when he gets out and away from the line of scrimmage, what is he known for? He's known for those stiff arms, getting guys up off of him. He's not running out of bounds per se, but, you don't see him take a ton of
he's not getting plastered. Yeah.
And he didn't carry a ton in college. I mean, his big year was his final year when he won the Heisman Trophy. And then the first 2 years here, he was behind DeMarco Murray. So, he's got 3 more years on his current contract. And my hunch is that he'll be able to perform through all 3 of those because, you watch those training videos. I mean, I don't know humans could do that until I saw him do it.
Yeah.
So he's doing his best to be in shape to be Derrick Henry.
You mentioned Arthur Smith, and you've now watched him up close and personal for a couple of years. What kind of a head coach is he going to be in Atlanta?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. We talked to him an awful lot over the last 2 years, and he may leave some fans. If you're wanting somebody to pizzazz you and give you that great soundbite, that's probably not Arthur. But as far as knowing the game, that's Arthur Smith. I mean, the reason that Mike Vrabel felt comfortable, think about this. He survived Mike Munchak, Ken Wisenhunt, Mike Malarkey, and Mike Vrabel with the franchise here. So when you can stick around like that, you're doing something right. He also worked under Joe Gibbs over in Washington to get his start in the NFL. So he's been exposed to a lot of coaches, and with his work as tight ends coach before becoming coordinator, he was involved in the run and the pass game. So, and he's got some really nice tight ends. He's got some guy named Calvin Ridley there in Atlanta. So if they can improve their defense and find a way to protect Matt Ryan, and that's where I think that he'll also come into play. So I'm very curious to see. I think Atlanta fans will be a lot happier. But again, if you're looking for somebody to have the zing, the great soundbite, I don't, maybe he gets there. He had some good quotes at times, but sometimes
he's all business. That's okay.
Yeah, he is all business. Sometimes, though, it's one of those things. Sometimes you'd ask about Derrick Henry, and his inclination is to talk about the whole team or the whole offense and share the credit. So, if you're a reporter trying to write about one person, you may have to go to the position coach.
Come on, Arthur, play along with me. Help me out here, Teresa. You mentioned the Monday night game. Of all, I've been able to do a lot. I've never been to on location, live in person at Monday Night Football. Is it a different cachet about it?
It is, because it's at night, so people have been waiting all day. You're looking at your watch. When does kickoff start? And then you get in there, and it's like you're just kind of tapping your foot, saying, "Come on, let's get the kickoff. I can't wait for this. We got to get this going." And then you kick off, and it's under the lights. So much of the season, you're kicking off at noon Central, and the bright lights is the sun, and you try not to get hot or too cold, but when it's night and those lights are on, and the beauty of a primetime game is, if you're watching football, you're watching that game that night. So that everybody's paying attention, and these days on social media, Twitter's flying, and everybody's chiming in with an opinion. But it's fun for those games, and there is a certain energy in the air that you don't have for a noon kickoff.
Before we run out of time, switching gears a little bit, we know the Oakland A's are trying to put pressure on the county in Oakland, which they reside, to build them a new baseball stadium. They've been after them for 20 years, and they probably have one coming. But now they're talking about getting permission from Major League Baseball to talk to other cities. Not surprising. And Nashville is one of the cities mentioned. Do you think, and I know you are one of the biggest cheerleaders for Nashville, so I know you're going to give me the straight stuff here. Do you think Nashville is big enough with already two professional franchises to really financially be able to support Major League Baseball?
Well, I wouldn't have said so until about a year ago, but Oracle is, got a plan to put in a big development in Nashville, kind of expanding that corporate space and, bringing a bunch of employees that supposedly with a lot of people earning at least $100,000 a year. So that, and just the growth. Hey, there were people who didn't think that Nashville could support the NHL or the NFL back in the 90s, and look how well that's done. So at this point, guys, last time I said that'll never happen was 2000 when Memphis was talking to the Grizzlies about moving. I've learned my lesson, never say never.
Me too, Teresa. I said never for the Grizzlies.
And the baseball commissioner has cited Nashville as a place for expansion. Well, if you're not going to expand anytime soon, a relocation sure would meet the mark. They're third, I think, in the betting odds between Vegas, Montreal, and Nashville.
Wow. So even if you didn't get it this round, if Oakland does leave, and I don't think that'll happen. I believe, what is it, Alameda County? That is, it's
Sounds
Oakland,
right,
Alameda,
yes.
I think that's right. I don't think they want to see a third team leave their realm, and they want that an entertainment district anyway. It only makes sense for them, although $12 billion is a lot of money, but it only makes sense in my mind that they'll come across. But if they didn't, and you're third in that pecking order, then the first city, say Vegas, gets that, and then you're in line for an expansion team.
Or Tampa Bay, which I've always thought the Rays were probably the likeliest team to end up here first because, it's an American League team. You're not going to conflict with the Braves, the Reds, the Cardinals market.
Right.
So that's why I've just always, and I've thought that by 2025, Nashville would have Major League Baseball. I'm hoping at this point they wait until after I retire.
What?
I got enough on my plate, guys. I'm responsible.
Retirement,
Teresa, come on. You're
not retiring.
You're a young woman. I don't want to hear that. We're the old ones here. Come on. Get to work.
You're right. I probably should.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Teresa, thank you.
We always
it's
love
great
chatting
talking
with
to you.
We'll do it again.
We want to
soon.
see you in August at the golf tournament.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be in Tokyo then, guys. At least that's the plan.
What kind of excuse is that?
No, that's a good one.
Thank you, Teresa.
What would be your assignment in Tokyo?
Women's basketball. But I am hoping to
Nice.
be down next week for a play-in game.
Oh, yeah. We could see you then. We could see you then for sure. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you,
Honestly, we'll
Teresa.
have you on again soon.
Thanks, guys.
That is Teresa Walker, Miss Tennessee AP. She's brought to you by my good friend Ken Garland. Looking for a renovation. Maybe you're building that dream home. Maybe you got land, you're not sure what to do with it. Ken knows. Ken and his father for 50 years. They've done renovation with innovation, or they have built dream homes. If you're looking for land, they've got that too. They can do it all. Go check out kengarland.com and then make the call. It's simple. 751-1632. 901-751-1632. He's a rare guy that sees little details and big picture all at the same time. He stays busy, I can tell you, because he always comes through with basically quality construction, on time, on budget. 50 years of a track record. Go to kengarland.com. Call Ken. You'll love what you see, I promise. And you'll want your dream home or that new renovation from Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Back with a wrap of this very first hour of Sports Time on Sports 56.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio. We are Sports 56, 98.5 and 96.1.
It's happening again at Family Leisure. Don't miss out again this summer because pools are going fast. Spas in stock now, too, and they're ready for delivery. New 2021 patio furniture, state-of-the-art in stock now, and up to 20% off select sets. Swing into spring with a brand new play gym, professional installation available. The temperature's rising, and so is the service at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road, where family and fun come together.
Did you know Prilosec OTC can stop frequent heartburn before it begins? Yep, I said before. Block heartburn at the source by taking the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. With just one pill a day, you get 24-hour heartburn relief. That's all day. Start the 2-week challenge today at prilosecotc.com and live heartburn-free. Just one pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Are you considering replacing your heating and air conditioning system this spring? Conway Services and Carrier have teamed up to make now the perfect time with Visa gift cards back from Carrier for up to $1,500 on select Carrier Infinity systems. If you happen to need 2 new systems, that'd be up to $3,000 in Visa cards. Now that'd come in handy. If that's not enough, we'll include an April air cleaner to help remove dust from your home, a 10-year parts warranty, and a free Nest thermostat. Plus, with Conway Services, we have easy payment plans with systems as low as $139 per month. Now you could do that. And with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system, we'll come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
What I'm saying is, this is the anthem. Throw all your hands up. Y'all got to feel me. Sing if you're with me. Yeah. Don't wanna be just
Welcome back in, cruising through our very first hour. A reminder, we'll be talking about the Grizzlies, Sacramento, the playoffs, the whole scenario that comes your way with Keith Smith at the top of the hour. Keith Smith, of course, writes for Yahoo on the NBA in Orlando. We've got, Brett, 2 tickets to the Vandy Ole Miss baseball game, 4 o'clock Saturday, the 15th of May at Swayze Field. And Section A, row 3, seat 25 and 26. I imagine these are probably pretty good seats. We'll give them away to what? The third texter that wants them. Third texter.
Let's do that.
On our First Bank text
I'm going to
line
Oxford.
360-8255.
I'm going to Oxford Saturday.
Are you?
To that game. Kumar Rocker, who will be the first or second or at worst third player drafted, will pitch Friday night for Vandy. And Al Leiter's son, Al Leiter was a left-hander. His son's a right-hander. I think his name is Jack. He's pitching on Saturday for Vandy, and he'll be in the top 5 or 6 players taken as well in the upcoming draft. And I normally, Dave, would be watching the Cardinals right now. I pay for MLB extra innings. I pay for all the Bally Sports Network shows, including South for Grizzlies and Midwest for the Cardinals. But no, I'm not watching. You know why?
Why?
This is a YouTube-only broadcast today.
Oh, you're kidding.
I've never been to YouTube in my life.
Well, I think that's free. You could figure that out. Just Google YouTube, go to it.
I ain't figured out Zeke's app yet. I'm
up.
still stuck in Los Angeles. I can't get to our area.
That is incredible that you haven't been able to do that. I might have to try just to show you up a little bit. I can tell you who showed up today at
Be careful, technology, Dave.
Not Las Colinas. Come on. I mean, you and I are in the same boat. I hate to tell you. We are both swimming.
Dave, I'm Steve Jobs compared to you.
Oh, my gosh. Are you serious? I considered us very much alike when it comes to...
Drew, technologically speaking, which one... Now, it's a low bar.
It's a very, very low bar. I mean, honestly, if I hadn't... I believe I had to teach Dave how to unlock his phone one time.
No, it got stuck. It got stuck. It wouldn't turn off, remember?
Well, it was something
frozen.
very simple that me and
frozen.
Gabe would have taken half a second.
No, you couldn't figure it out. Gabe did. And he had to go Google it to figure it out because it was a weird thing. No.
I'm going to just say both of y'all are tied. Y'all are really bad.
Exactly
I'm terrible at
I
technology,
said.
but I am light years ahead of
Brett,
y'all.
you're just fooling yourself. Look at me and see yourself. That's all I'm going to say. Now,
I think I have. That's what I don't like.
I can tell you that J.J. Spawn went crazy today in Dallas at the Byron Nelson.
Everybody's going low.
At this new course, 63, 9 under for Spawn. Rafael Cabrera Bello. Remember, we haven't heard from him in a long time. Now, who was I almost going to take as a shock? Aaron Wise. 8 under, tied for second.
Dave, you know what almost gets you? I almost had all the Powerball numbers of the night. You know what it got me? Squadoosh. Zip.
Nothing. Mark Leishman 6 under, so I'm in the hunt there.
Yeah, but great round. I agree with that.
Great. Another guy I almost took. He's 7 under.
The very controversial Siwoo Kim 6 under through 13 holes started on the back, completing the front as his final 18 on 9, but it's going to be with an asterisk.
Spieth is at 6 under too.
If Siwoo Kim does really well in this tournament, there is definitely
we go to standards and practices committee. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, no question. That would be
especially
going to be
after that technological salvo we just endured. Especially after that,
I would just say this: it will be more looked at than Medina Spirit's blood sample. That's what I think is going to happen here.
There will be some. So in effect, Drew really is the Bobby Baffert of
he is
Flynn broadcast.
Oh,
cutting edge,
absolutely. Cutting edge, takes it just a little over the line, like doing his own banners. I mean, come on, it's crazy.
I'm not too worried about the committee. I'll hold y'all up in litigation, and I'll countersue, and by the time y'all get it all figured out, both of y'all won't even be at the station anymore. It's going to take that long.
That could truly
playing
be
the long
case.
game, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, I know who's
Yeah.
playing. I know who's playing the short game, and it's the cars are moving. If you want to sell a car, truck, or SUV today, sell it to All-Star. All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. They're a car buying machine right now. Big money for any vehicle you want to sell, no matter what you owe. Seriously, All-Star will buy yours, even if you're not buying one of theirs. Bring any vehicle and get your check today. Spread the word. If you know anyone that wants to sell their car, truck, or SUV, All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch is the new go-to place. So easy when you sell it to All-Star Chevy on Kraft Goodman Road. Go to allstarautogroup.com for all the details.
And I want to let everybody know this portion of the show also brought to you by Memphis Public Golf, and I'm doing research and development for all these spots. So on Saturday, I'm going to play Fox Meadows and go see Ali and see what that course is like that Alan, the superintendent, always does such a great job. Then on Sunday, I got to check out Galloway because you can never get on Galloway. It is so popular.
I love the research you're doing.
There's a reason. Well, I have to do these commercials,
You have
and
to.
I feel
You have to.
a real obligation. It's to you folks out there, and Brett, to you if you ever come back to the game. I'm going to tell you just kind of what condition they're in. Also, I might tune my game up because City Golf this year has more championships than they've ever had before. There will be a Galloway championship, an Audubon championship, Fox Meadows, Pine Hill, all leading into the Pub Links and the Hillman Robbins. Don't forget the Ladies Amateur Championships. They've got competitions for you. And if you're a junior golfer, there are camps or a mom or a dad that would like your kids to learn the game the right way. The pros of Memphis City Golf are having camps all summer at Whitehaven. Go to memphispublinks.com. You'll find out all the info. A sporting tradition for over 100 years. Memphis and City Golf. That's an hour in the books. Hour number 2 coming your way. Down to Orlando we go with Keith Smith in a minute.
No one outfits golfers better than Edwin Watts Golf Shops. We've been fitting golfers since 1968. Utilizing cutting-edge fitting technology, we'll analyze your swing and our Foresight launch monitors and fit you with the perfect club, pair of shoes, the latest golf apparel, golf balls, bags, and more. So come by today for your complete custom fitting. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Have you ever wondered what's inside your air ducts? Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. If you are one of many who suffers from bad allergies, especially in the Mid-South, and would like to improve the indoor air quality of your home, then Choate's Air Duct Cleaning could be a solution for you and your family. Air duct cleaning has been proven to help people with allergies and other respiratory issues by removing buildup of debris from your home's air supply. Air duct cleaning will also help eliminate dust from building up in your house. Therefore, you don't have to dust as much either. And air duct cleaning is also shown to help improve the performance of your air conditioning and heating system. Choate's is the name you can trust for all your indoor air quality needs. So call Choate's today at 755-4797 or visit our website at choateshvac.com to schedule a free video inspection to help you breathe a little easier. And remember, Choate's. Let our family serve your family.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkham for Sunrise Buick GMC. You know Sunrise has the best selection, price, and has financing for everyone, but did you know you can bring your vehicle to Sunrise's award-winning service department no matter where you bought it? Maintenance, engine, transmission, brakes, or tires, bring it to Sunrise. Need body work? Tell your insurance agent you want to bring it to Sunrise. Schedule an appointment at sunrisememphis.com, Covington Pike, Bartlett, and Collierville. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that PIN, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 406 1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend, Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We welcome you in on a glorious Thursday afternoon. We got the barbecue fest going on the river. I mean, it's really going strong. Congratulations. We are getting back to life. Isn't that terrific? We got a big
Will you
game
make
tonight.
an appearance? You used to be a pretty good barbecue attendee.
I did. And this was the night I really liked to go the most.
It kind of went the way with our lack of technical advances too, didn't it? Called age.
Yeah, we suffer from OLD. That is the.
I've never
biggest
been to
thing.
the barbecue contest.
Oh my goodness!
I tell this I didn't last year because we didn't have it. I've never been, and I wanted to go years ago, but it was always a great 4-ball I would play in on this weekend, and so I never got into going. Then kind of after I quit drinking, some of the zeal for going dissipated.
Well,
that's the best part, the free food and the free booze.
Yeah. I really started to
But I love that we have it.
Thursday night. Thursday night was my night because it was just sort
That
of
was Veterans
building to a crescendo, and there were more people my age at that point, and most of them had their own teams, and there were a bunch of them where I didn't have to sneak in. I actually got invited.
Take off Friday
I kind of liked it. No, I never did that.
Too much fun.
No, but I think that is something you should absolutely positively do. So that's going on the river, but we do have this big game. Sacramento tonight, Memphis a big 8-point favorite in the game tonight. I think if you're going to go by the plan is win tonight, rest everybody in the back-to-back tomorrow, so you're ready Sunday for an 8-9 game, and that's what it will be as long as Memphis wins one of the two games. They're in an 8-9 game prime ABC Sunday 2:30 between Memphis and the Golden State Warriors in San Francisco. On that note, let's go to our expert from Yahoo, Downey in Orlando. That is Keith Smith. Keith, thank you for joining us as you have all year long. We can't tell you how much we appreciate your dedication to our fans in this show. We do truly appreciate it. And I want to start with something really simple.
Keith, I told you that in the text today that we appreciated you a ton, didn't I?
Go over the format for the way the playoffs will be starting next week.
Sure, yeah, and as you mentioned, it looks like you guys are going to kind of start your playoffs this weekend, almost with the Grizzlies and Warriors. But what's going to happen with the play-in tournament, first of all? That is going to start on Tuesday. We still do not have the exact schedule for what that'll look like. There's some rumor that'll be broken up by conference, and then there's been a rumor that'll be done, an East Coast game and a West Coast game, and then the following day, same thing. But what we're going to see is the 7th seed will play the 8th seed. The winner of that game becomes the 7th seed. The loser goes into another game where they will play the winner of the 9 seed versus the 10 seed. Then the winner of that game, so loser of 7-8 versus winner of 9-10, becomes the 8th seed. That is where we'll see how it plays out there. It's so if you're 7 or 8, you've got 2 cracks at this thing to win one game.
So it's a 1-game 9-10, right?
Correct, yep.
And then the winner of that game plays the loser of the 7-8 in a 1-game shootout.
That is correct. Yep.
And the winner becomes the 8th seed. So if Memphis can either only be 8 or 9. So if everything, let's just say, for the heck of figuring all of this out and making it as easy as we possibly can. If the Grizzlies say they win the night and then they beat Golden State on Sunday, they're 8. So they would play the Lakers, right? One game. If they win that, they're the 7th seed. If they lose that, they will play the winner of Golden State, San Antonio, and if they were to win that, then they would be the 8th seed.
Yep, you got it.
Okay.
That's spot on.
That is what we are facing. And I've heard some people going, well, you don't want to play the Lakers. Maybe it's better for you to be 9, take on the Spurs, and then you could still play the Lakers. So I don't see there's any possible reason why you would not want to be 8, because you got 2 shots, basically, of getting to the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. You want to be in the 7-8 game because of that. You want to have those 2 shots, because it's going to be tough enough anyway to beat, the Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis in a single game elimination, and then Steph Curry in a single game. That's pretty tough too. You might be able to pull off one of those. Doing it twice, that's where it gets a little tricky. So yeah, you definitely want to be in that 7-8 range.
Keith, before we get to, we'll get back into playoff talk, but Dave referenced earlier in our show today the New York Post story about some allure by the New York Knicks of Jaren Jackson after that 4th year next year. That would be very problematical for the Grizzlies just to let him walk. Do the Grizzlies, if that got to critical mass, do you deal him before you just let him walk?
Well, I think you got a couple things here that you have to factor in if you're Memphis. One, he'll be a restricted free agent, so they still control that process almost fully. Yes, he could sign the Yeah, exactly. He could sign the qualifying offer, play it out one more year as a 5th year with Memphis, and then become an unrestricted free agent. But we haven't seen anybody do that yet, at least not willingly. A couple guys have been forced to having that left over. There's some thought that is becoming more and more likely because those qualifying offers have increased so much in salary number. They're no longer around a $7 or $1 million contract. They're starting to push really close up into the double digits, but we're still not there yet. So I think what you do if you're Memphis is you let that play out. You kind of write that off as that's a nice little rumor. We'll see where that all comes out. But if it really starts turning into, the player, meaning in this case, Jaren Jackson Jr., comes out and says, I want to be in New York. That's where I really want to be, and I'm going to force my way there one way or another, then sure, you definitely consider dealing him before it becomes your hand is forced, because as long as you control the process, you'll always get more for the player than if your hand is forced.
Well, the 2 interesting aspects are now the tie-in with the Knicks and his dad, right? And his dad's agent was Leon Rose, or at least the CAA agency was, and he had a connection there. And this Mark Berman, who writes this story in the New York Post, says that the Grizzlies, he's heard whispers, that's how he writes it, that they're not sold on Triple J, and they're concerned about his durability. My question for you around the league is, what do you think the perception of Jaren Jackson Jr. really is?
Yeah, there's definitely concerns about his durability. Anybody who's been this banged up this early in their career, there's always a question of, are they going to put it together? And it's, 50-50, whether guys do. We looked at a guy like Anthony Davis. He was one of those guys we had that question about. He's more or less put it together. This year's been a little bit of a weird season. I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock into a lot of injuries this year, but that's really the only real question. Everybody else looks at it as this guy can defend. He's big. He can shoot the heck out of the ball, at his size. He's a guy who can really fit in very easily with just about any type of team. So I don't know anybody who's down on him as a basketball player, Memphis included. The really only question is, can you hand this guy a max contract or a near max contract and, trust that he's going to stay healthy? That seems to be the biggest question right now.
Here we are right before the start of the playoffs. Playing, as you said, begins Tuesday. Then everybody else will get going, and it'll be constant basketball. And I think most people are looking at something like Philadelphia or Brooklyn or Milwaukee out of the East and Utah or Phoenix or the Clippers, maybe Denver out of the West. Do you have a surprise team in there, Keith, one that may be building right now? Because I have one in the East, and they were a popular bubble team.
Yeah, I'm guessing you're going with the Miami Heat with that one. And,
I am.
And if you are,
I love
yeah,
Sports.
I'm in the same place. Yep, I'm in that same spot with the Heat. I think the Heat are, they are rounding into form at exactly the right time, and they're starting to look an awful lot like that group that made that run in the bubble. And if you're Philadelphia, Brooklyn, or Milwaukee, and you have to face the Heat in the first round or even in the second round, you still feel pretty good about your chances because you've had that good of a season. But what you worry is they could beat you, but even if you think you're going to beat them, they're going to extend you. They're going to make you work. They're going to really make you have to beat them. And that's something that's got to be a little bit concerning for those teams, at least in the back of their minds, because you don't want to have to work all that hard in the early rounds of the playoffs. Then, as we go forward, with the West, the surprise team, it's a little bit more difficult because I think they're almost a little too good to be a surprise. But I think you have to at least consider the Denver Nuggets because I think a lot of us, myself included, not fully wrote them off, but more wrote them off when Jamal Murray went down, that they may not be as good a contender as they are. But they've hung in there, more than hung in there. They've moved up the standing and played quite well the rest of the way.
That has really been the Nurkic, the center's been incredible, and Will Barton was playing well for them until he got hurt, and they've overcome a lot to continue to play as well as they have. I want to go back to Miami because you say they're rounding into shape at the right time. We know Jimmy Butler is the key player on that team. In the playoffs last year, I really thought Hero was their hero. He has not played that well this year. What is it that is turning them around at the right time?
Yeah, you've got a couple things. One, they're getting healthy. That's probably the single biggest thing. They are, like very many teams this year, battled all sorts of injuries, and they're finally starting to get healthy. The other thing is, I'm glad you mentioned Tyler Hero, because he's a big part of it. He is starting to play a lot like the player we all really liked as a rookie. I don't know what went on with him shooting-wise, if it was a confidence thing, if it was an injury thing, or whatever it was, but he was not the same player he was last year as a rookie. Now he's finally starting to put it together again. It looked like that guy. He's scoring off the dribble. He's shooting well on the off-ball plays. And then you've got guys like Goran Dragic, Andre Iguodala, the veterans that they added, Trevor Ariza, Dwayne Dedmon. Those are guys who I think at this point in their careers, let's just check in on them, with a month or so to go. And as long as they look good then, we can kind of write off everything from before then because it doesn't really matter all that much.
The rumors were that Hero was partying a little too much. You think some of the veterans got to him and said, look, you can do that in the offseason, but you can't do that now. We need you to get better. Was there a meeting where the souls were bared?
Yeah, it's certainly possible. It's not anything I have direct knowledge of and haven't heard from anybody. What I've heard from them was that at no point was anybody down on him or out on Tyler Hero or anything like that. It was just more of a, hey, we got to get things going, get ourselves back together and in the place where we were. And that's a group that prizes probably as much, if not more, than any other team in the league, the kind of mental stability and the being together part of things. And that is really, really important for them.
Exciting for the Knicks, exciting for Atlanta. It'll be exciting here. There's some new blood and some new energy in these playoffs.
Yeah, there absolutely is. The Knicks being back there for the first time in, I believe it's 8 years now for them. That's absolutely huge. I think, Atlanta, they weren't out quite as long, but they've been kind of building. It's been a slow build with that young group, and they've come together and look really good. And I think now we're at a position where as we look at the playoffs, especially with this advent of the postseason tournament, or the play-in tournament, rather, it's giving these teams a chance, and they've got something to play for. It may be in past years where a team might have said, all right, we're not really going to go very far. we're better off turning this thing around and rebuilding. Some of these teams now have done that. We've seen, Miami. You look at a team like Washington. They would have been left for dead, in any other season, months ago. And then because of the advent of the play-in was, we're hanging around this thing just enough. And now they're coming in and looking like a team nobody really wants a part of in that tournament.
You had gone heavy on Phoenix a few weeks ago, and Phoenix tied Utah for the Western Conference lead just last week when we were talking. Now they're a game and a half behind, and 70 games are in the books for Utah. Are you ready now to declare the Jazz the number one seed in the West?
Yeah, they'll be the number one seed. Whether they're the team to beat, that part I'm not fully sold on. You can convince me about even odds on the Jazz, Suns, and the Clippers. Now, taking the Lakers out of that group, just because if they've got to go through the play-in, that's just such a tough path to have to go through to just even get back to the finals. Never mind get back there and win. But I think the Jazz, the Suns, and the Clippers are all about equal. I think it's going to come down to health and matchups. If the Jazz can get Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley back, they're in a much different place. But it's unclear right now whether they'll get those guys back at 100%. Mitchell's not going to play through the weekend, through the rest of the regular season. So we'll see. They're well positioned though. They're going to have those 5 or 6 days off to get ready, get healthy. So I'm pretty high on all three of those teams, about equally in the West.
Keith, I made this comment yesterday, so I'll say it today to you. With as well as and cover the Boston Celtics. In the preseason, nobody had the Memphis Grizzlies winning more games than the Celtics, and they're going to.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, nobody. Yeah, I don't think even the if you could find somebody that for whatever reason loves the Grizzlies and absolutely abhors the Celtics, I don't think even they would have picked that. But Boston, it's been an absolute mess of a season for them. Everything has gone wrong. They will have, now that Jaylen Brown is out for the remainder of the year, the Celtics will go the entire season without playing a single game with their top 7 players available in their rotation. And that's not even counting Evan Fournier. That is, that's just too much to overcome, for a team that was so reliant on young players for their depth and those kind of things that they just were not there and were unable to put it together the way that they needed to. So, yeah, definitely a down year for the Celtics. We're starting to hear a lot of people, a lot of grumbles of overreacting and things like that, which is a little bit much for me. I don't think we need to go quite there with the Celtics, but I do think we're in a position now where they've definitely got some stuff to figure out the rest of the way.
I know you said that Brad Stevens is totally safe. He got extensions, and they've had all these injuries. Is there anybody wondering about Danny Ainge?
Great
from the
question.
fan side,
Great
absolutely
question.
there are.
Because nobody touches Ainge.
Yeah, fans have never really come out and gone after it. There was a period of time when it was, why are we not trading these draft picks and let's go all in and let's go get guys and, let's supplement Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder and Al Horford. And then that turned into Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, and everybody was like, well, that's why Danny Ainge is smarter than I am. Then it turned into, all right, we hit on those picks and we're still hanging on to these other picks. And that has grown, and you're starting to hear that more out of the fan base than I've ever heard it before. But from the top, no one's really pushing that. There is some belief that Danny Ainge is probably only going to do this for about 2-3 more years, and then likely it's going to be handed over to Mike Zarin, who's been his longtime lieutenant there in Boston. But even that is unclear that that's going to be the direction that goes. But yeah, Ainge and Stevens are both going to be back in their roles next year for sure.
This news just coming out now. The Minnesota Timberwolves owner, Glenn Taylor, apparently has reached a verbal agreement on selling the T-Wolves to former baseball star Alex Rodriguez and e-commerce mogul Mark Lowry for $1.5 billion, $1.5 billion. The NBA still has to approve the deal. That's pending. Neither side has publicly announced an agreement. Do you think that makes a good deal of progress for the Timberwolves. I know it does Glenn Taylor because he brings home $1.5 billion, and it does it for the other owners because I think the last time I saw the value of the T-Wolves, it was like 1.2 or 1.1. It was just above the Memphis Grizzlies and I think the Milwaukee Bucks. What does this do? And does A-Rod pass the test of NBA approval?
Yeah, they're going to pass. You know, it doesn't get this deep without a really good feeling that this is going to get through. So we're not going to worry about that part of it too much, and we'll see how involved of an owner Alex Rodriguez is, or is he just one of those guys? He was kind of the face of it versus he is actually super involved. Well, we'll see. I mean, we know he's got the money to be super involved. He certainly had a lucrative playing career and then post career.
Yep.
There. For the
like Jeter with the Marlins.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Now the Wolves themselves, there was belief that any sale that came when it was announced that they were going to be sold was going to come with language that the team had to stay in Minnesota and couldn't be moved. So we'll see, ultimately what happens there with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Are they, does anything come of that with them? Re-upping their deal to stay in Minnesota. And I don't want to see anybody lose. I think the league is better served by expanding to a couple new markets than moving teams. But what this really tells us is anybody who screams and yells poor mouth in the NBA, one of your franchises that is not a marquee franchise, not in a marquee city, just went for $1.5 billion. Everybody's doing pretty well.
Yeah. Last thing, real quick, since you mentioned it, I have to follow. What would the two cities be that you would move to if you were expanding?
It's Seattle for sure. It's a crime that there's not a team in Seattle. There absolutely has to be. I would like to see the league get a little more West Coast centric, and then let's get Memphis or Minnesota off to the Eastern Conference, where I think they ultimately should be.
Make you the commissioner.
I'm guessing to make it 32, you're gonna, and you want West, you're putting in Vegas, right?
Yeah, I think Las Vegas, or there's a lot of talk of Vancouver maybe being ready this time around if they wanted to go that route. There, I think you could look at them, and if not those two out of those three teams, cities rather. I think Louisville is a team or a city you need to seriously consider. They've done a lot of work. They've got a very good group that's together trying to lead a team to the city. So, the NBA is positioned here where my guess is Adam Silver kind of tipped his hand when he gave a State of the Union address earlier this year, where he kind of said for the first time, whenever he's been asked about expansion in the past, he has always said, nothing we're talking about, nothing we've even discussed. This year, for the first time, he said, yeah, we've dusted off some of the expansion plans, and it's something we're starting to at least consider. To me, that tells me they're doing more than just dusting off and considering. I'm betting that within 3 to 5 years, we have an announcement that 2 new teams are coming in, and then a couple years on the heels of that, they'll start play. Because especially that Seattle market, now that they're getting an NHL team, they do not want to lose ground and all of a sudden be the 4th major pro sports team in that gigantic market.
He is Keith Smith from Yahoo in Orlando. He writes on the NBA. We'll know playoffs and the whole scenario next week. Can't wait to chat with you then.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it. Keith Smith.
Thanks,
Always
Keith.
a pleasure. He's brought to you in part by Homer. In fact, the whole hour is presented by Homer, Skelton Hyundai, Genesis of Olive Branch. Same building, same company, same great GM, Chris True. Same thought process about service. This is a team, really, that have been together about 13 years, and they'll know everything about you and your car if you give them the chance to get to know you. I promise you, they remember it forever. That's just the way they operate. Every new car gets a 3-year, 36,000-mile maintenance package. Now, that's the new thing that they love to do at both Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. They'll change your oil. They'll rotate your tires. They will take care of you. And you know how good the product is. You can't keep a Genesis car on the lot. And Hyundais, well, they're the safest cars on the planet. And durable. Every car gets a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, whether it's a Hyundai or whether it's a G car, a Genesis car, the number one dollar for bang luxury car that there is on the market anywhere in the world. That's just the truth. All you got to do is get on Lamar to find out. Head down Highway 78. It's the first exit in Mississippi, Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris and all that gang. You'll be happy when you walk into Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. And the car business is crazy right now. If you've got a used car, Brett, that you're trying to sell because there's such a lack of product with the shutdown from the pandemic, I mean, they're going crazy.
They are. People are just clamoring to get their hands on them, and it is really something to see. Dave, the Cardinals with a 2-0 win over Milwaukee.
Yeah, I saw that.
And now, all seriousness, I said earlier in the week, 3 in Milwaukee, 3 in San Diego. I wanted to see the Cardinals on the road against good teams because I think most of it's been puffed up against kind of lesser teams. The game on Monday night, Milwaukee gave it to the Cardinals. The game last night, the Cardinals gave it back to Milwaukee, and the Cardinals won a 2-0 game, and the Cardinals now with the largest lead of in any division in baseball.
Yeah, I'm very well aware of that.
Okay.
I am.
I know someone that's enjoying the Cardinal success, and that's our friend Walker Taylor at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. He loves the Cardinals just like I do, and we're going to rub it in today whenever we're all together, and we're out at either place, the new Collierville Commissary, Houston Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. Slow. That's the definition of the commissary. Commissaries, the Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, authentic Memphis-style because it's slow. Begin that barbecue feast with the appetizers. You can make a meal out of the appetizers. Don't save room for everything. The cheese plates, tamales, the barbecue nachos, where they originated in Germantown in the 80s, in early 80s, invented at the Germantown Commissary. Dig into the ribs or the shoulder, the beans, the slaw, the deviled eggs, all the fixings. Get a 6-pack or an 8-pack or a 12-pack. We often give away 6-packs of barbecue on this show. The Boss Man salad is outstanding. Chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp, also good. Save room for all of it. Save room for dessert with the best lemon ice box pie I've ever had anywhere. Terrific banana pudding. 754-5540. Online at commissarybarbecue.com. Restrictions certainly starting to relax even more. Get out, take care of those people that were taking care of us last year in very trying times. In Collierville and Germantown, again, 754-5540. The new Collierville Commissary, Houston Levy and Poplar, are the original in Germantown.
Our friend Zeke Terry that we had on early to talk about that new app that you can see what's going on with cars trying to get into Tennessee or into Arkansas. And it took Zeke about an hour and a half to get to work this morning from West Memphis to the Flynn Broadcasting Center. We asked him to text us when he got home. He got home at about an hour. Normally it takes him about 30 to 35 minutes, so about twice as long.
So double.
And he says the backup to get into Tennessee is way longer than to get into Arkansas. So if you're going westward across the river, not so bad. If you're going eastward from Arkansas into Tennessee, it is really, really a much more difficult proposition, and we pass along the word that the Tennessee Department of Transportation head today said it would be more likely months than weeks that the I-40 bridge will be closed. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will head to Louisville, Kentucky, the voice of the Louisville Cardinals, but we have him on 3 times a year, not to talk about football or talk about basketball. It's to talk the Triple Crown. We'll talk Preakness. We'll talk Medina Spirit. And, of course, Bob Baffert. All that comes your way in just a minute.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on AM 560, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County. Get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything! A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
To Louisville we go in a minute, but first I got to let you know this portion of the show brought to you by Grind City Brewing Company. I bet there's a bunch of tiger tail going on at the riverfront right now for the barbecue contest, which is in full swing. I love talking about Tiger Tail, which is the official craft beer of the University of Memphis. It is a craft malt liquor, and you're going, well, a malt liquor? This is unlike any other malt liquor you have ever seen. It is a craft beer, and it is crafted with a bold and a smooth flavor. Now, it's got a kick, 7.5% alcohol, but the key to it is it's got this clean finish that makes it so incredibly easy drinking. And it used to be you could only get it at the brewery. You know, that's in Uptown. Then they expanded a little bit to all the spirit shops. But now it became so popular, they literally have it in Kroger. You can't believe how good it is and how popular it's become. Tiger Tail and Grind City Brewing taking care of beerness in Memphis. All right, we've got a controversy, obviously. I want to know right now, my friend, the voice of the Louisville Cardinals, Paul Rogers, is so brilliant that I know he won't hesitate, not for one single second, when I ask him to tell me exactly, and I mean exactly, how much is 21 picograms?
Yeah, a little teeny tiny amount. That's the best I can tell you.
What is it? Betamethasone is I guess it's an anti-inflammatory.
Was it the difference in winning, Paul?
I mean, is that enough, really, to be performance-enhancing, 21 picograms?
I'm no medical expert, but those who do know say, no, it is not enough. But the problem is it's a prohibited substance. And if there is any detected in a horse's system, then he is disqualified. He has not been disqualified yet. As you know, they're going to get another. They're going to take the second sample, but it's not allowed in any amount. That's the problem.
If
how much pre-race testing do they do, Paul, or is everything? Does it matter post?
Normally, they don't do pre-race testing, but in order for Medina Spirit to run in the Derby and for Baffert to run any horses at Pimlico this weekend, they have required, and he has agreed, to pre-race testing, but that is not normally done.
A suggestion was made that USADA, that does all the track athletes and baseball players and human athletes, that they should take this over because it would be more efficient and more fair. You buy that?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know that much about USADA, but I will say this. One of the big problems in racing has been for a long time the various state jurisdictions. There is no governing body. There is no universal rulings or regulations, and everything is so different from state to state that it's really pretty confusing. Now, regardless of that, if something is illegal in a state, then you don't use it. But it is, people have been clamoring this for years, that racing needs a unifying governing body.
If you were a betting man, and most horse racers are, would you say Medina Spirit's win will hold up?
No, I don't think it will.
Wow.
Because I don't see any reason why a second sample is going to be any different now that Baffert has admitted. What he first said was, we have never given this drug to the horse. Well,
Right.
later he found out this ointment, I believe it's an ointment, that they had been using on the skin condition had the ingredient in it. So it's pretty apparent to me that a second test isn't going to be different from a first test, and if that's the case, then disqualification will come. Now, it may be appealed, it may go on for a while, but the ruling, I think, is going to be he's disqualified.
I also heard, tell me if this is true, because I don't remember reading it, but I was told this, that the first time that Baffert heard it, he said, well, one of the trainers must have peed in some hay, and the horse ate the hay. Was that statement ever used?
Not exactly. Not exactly. He was talking about various ways that contamination can occur, and he claimed that in one instance with some horse of his, not Medina Spirit, a groom who was taking some certain medications, I don't even know what it was, did urinate in the barn in the hay, and traces of that got into the horse's system. It was not directly related to this case. He was just using examples of how contamination can occur without you being aware of it.
Interesting.
Paul, I know horse racing aficionados that you are among, and we have some in our area with the proximity we have to Oakland Park and Hot Springs. I know they don't want to hear it from knaves like me that really only watch 3 weekends a year. But, Paul, it appears the sport is very damaged. Do you see that? Do you feel that? Do you hear that from those that don't just watch three weekends a year?
No doubt it's damaged. I don't know that it's damaged beyond repair, but it is damaged to the extent that even the horse people are acknowledging it. I had a good friend of mine who's a thoroughbred trainer of some prominence. He won a Preakness one year and has had horses of high stature. He called me just in a frantic state of disappointment and concern about what's going on, because there is a bad perception out there with racing. It is a gambling sport, and gambling sports need to be closely scrutinized and regulated. And whether it's the general public who are just casual viewers that you refer to, or the betting public who want to make sure it's all legit, this has to be addressed and cleaned up. Not just because of the Derby, but certainly when the most scrutinized and most watched and most famous race has this occur, it makes everyone realize, look, we got to get a handle on this.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but the most important race in horse racing every year around the world is the Kentucky Derby. And if your prediction is true that Medina Spirit will lose his title, then that'll be 2 of the last 3 Kentucky Derbies where the winner was disqualified.
Yeah, although I still think the one 2 years ago with maximum security, as controversial as it was, that's something that's not unique to racing. I mean, name me a sport that hasn't had a major officiating controversy.
Yeah.
So that was a different kind of thing. When you have this occur where people are wondering, the horse is being drugged, does my horse have a chance running against that horse? Then it's a major concern that's got to be straightened out.
Paul, we've gone from 20 horses in the Derby down to 10. And the overwhelming favorite in the Derby, which finished 4th and whose name escapes me at the moment, is not even in this race. I was a little surprised at that.
Well, here's what's happened in Essential Quality is the horse you're talking about who ran 4th but was beaten less than a length, or beaten about a length, and ran about 10 lengths further because of a very wide trip. But that happens in the Derby. But what has happened with horses not racing as much as they used to years ago, if you don't win the Derby, well, we do have a few coming back and running in the Preakness, but if you got a top-flight horse like Essential Quality, they don't care about the Preakness. They care about running big races down the road, probably the Belmont. looking further ahead to the Breeders' Cup, those kinds of things. And then the Preakness, unfortunately, has kind of become the forgotten race. If you don't win the Derby, there's a lot of people that say, why do I want to waste my time in the Preakness? Personally, I've been to the Preakness many times. It's a great race. It's a great day of racing. It's a fun event. But it's just kind of stuck in between the Derby and the Belmont.
That is incredible to me. I would have loved to seen the showdown again with that horse. But
me too, because I think given different circumstances, you could argue that he very well could have won the Derby, and that's often the case. As I mentioned with Big Field, I really was hoping he'd come back too, because I think he'd had a great chance to win.
So Paul, who do you like? How would you call the Preakness? How would you go win, play, show?
Well, I got to say, I don't see him beating Medina Spirit this time either. I mean, he had a tough. He was fortunate.
Really,
in a way
super horse?
No, I'm not saying a super horse, but I think he's the best horse in this field, and he has the controlling speed in this field. He was fortunate in that when Rock Your World bumped with Essential Quality at the start of the Derby, it cost Essential Quality a wide trip, but it cost Rock Your World the race.
Yes.
Because he had to be up on the lead, and he got knocked back and never was anywhere close, and the race was over 5 steps out of the gate. And it allowed Medina Spirit to get that lead, and to his credit, he stayed there. He fought off a lot of challenges. He stayed there. Well, I don't see, unless Baffert, who also has Concert Tour in here, wants to go with Concert Tour, and if he does, I think Medina Spirit would be content to sit just behind him. But I just think Medina Spirit has the controlling speed in this race and should win again.
Well, you Rock Your World, that was the horse that was one of the favorites in that race. And obviously Essential Quality was the favorite. Will Rock Your World and Essential Quality both be in the Belmont?
I would expect Essential Quality to go, although that decision has not been made. I would be less optimistic in Rock Your World. I haven't heard anything in particular, but I just get the feeling that he would be more inclined to keep him on the West Coast where he's based and stay there for the time being.
All right, so we know Medina Spirit's the favorite, and you mentioned it's the other Baffert horse with Mike Smith on top, a great jockey. Concert Tour out of the 10, that is the second favorite at 5-2. Who else, like Midnight Bourbon at 5-1? Is that a horse that you think could win this thing?
Well, not especially. He ran a respectable race in the Derby.
He did.
He finished 6th. Keep you in mind was 7th in the Derby, so there's not anything really to knock there about him. But I don't necessarily like him coming back in this spot. I'm looking at 2 kind of pricey horses that I like. One is Crowded Trade, the 4. He's only been out 3 times, but he looks to be an improving horse as he's moved up in tougher races each time. And the other is Rombauer. He's number 6.
That's my favorite name right there, Rombauer. Is that a West Coast horse too, named after the winery in California?
I would assume so, because other than the Bluegrass Stakes at Keeneland and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last fall at Keeneland, all his races have been in California: Del Mar, Santa Anita, and Golden Gate. His 2 races ago, he won the El Camino Real Derby, which is sort of a minor Derby prep at Golden Gate in Northern California, and then came back and ran a very good 3rd in the Bluegrass Stakes. That was the race that Essential Quality won. And now he's back in the Preakness, and he's 12-1 odds, so I like those odds on him.
Well, my favorite Chardonnay, it's pricey too, is Rombauer. So now this is going to be my favorite in this race. I've got to get that in my trifecta or perfecta for sure. So, all right, give us the way this thing kind of plays out.
Well, I think Medina Spirit and Concert Tour will be both up front, and it doesn't really matter. I think Medina Spirit is in post 3 and Concert Tour in post 10. They can Medina Spirit can watch Concert Tour outside of him, see what he wants to do. Concert Tour can watch Medina Spirit inside of him, and I don't think they'll get hooked up in a duel. I think whichever one sort of falls in front will stay that way with the other close behind. And then you've got the horse like Rombauer. Looks like he definitely will close, although he ran up closer to the pace of the Bluegrass Stakes. Crowded Trade, the other horse that I like, I think is going to be well back. Midnight Bourbon will probably be kind of middle of the pack. But I really see Medina Spirit just prevailing either in front running or close to front running fashion. Keep this in mind. he's never been passed. He
That's
got
right.
the lead in the Derby, never gave it up. Even in the races where he was beaten, he was never passed. He just
Right.
never caught the horse that was ahead of him to start. So he's a very game horse, and I really like his chances to be there with. So my 4 horses are he, Patina Spirit, Crowded Trade, Rombauer, and then I can't throw out Concert Tour, although I didn't like his race in the Arkansas Derby that much. Wasn't awful, but he was a big favorite that day, had won 3 straight and finished third. And I don't know if there was any particular reason, but something about that race I just didn't really like a lot. But I still think in terms of quality and the competition he's faced, it's hard to throw him out.
Great insight as always, and we'll chat with you in 3 weeks.
Hey, I liked your previous guest, by the way, touting Louisville for the NBA.
Well, we're glad. Yeah, he's pretty on the money.
Yes, sir.
You guys actually had the chance when Memphis got it, but it's my understanding Rick Pitino said, "No way are we letting in the NBA."
Pitino and Jurich were not in favor of the NBA at all, but of course they're not here anymore. I really don't think Louisville has a great chance, but I do think it's a viable city. And the Kentucky Colonels, as you may well remember from when the Memphis Tams were there too, were
Dan
just
Issel,
phenomenal success.
Dan
yes,
Issel
sir.
was
Dan
on that
Issel,
team.
Artis Gilmore.
Yeah.
They were a fantastic team and a great.
Johnny
the city
Newman
loved
late with the Colonels.
He did briefly.
Yeah, Johnny Newman was on the Colonels.
Great Johnny Newman.
The city loved the Colonels. There are still people who talk about those glory days of the Kentucky Colonels. A lot of people would love to see the NBA come here, but I think it's a long shot.
Thank you, my friend. We appreciate it. And again,
Thank you,
we'll
Paul.
chat with
Great
you right
stuff.
before the Belmont.
Okay, see ya.
Paul Rogers, voice of the Cardinals of Louisville. This portion of the show brought to you by Sheldon Rosengarten, Mark Spensdorf. The hottest new listing that he and Hugh Mallory just placed on the market is a home on the premier lakefront lot in Germantown's prestigious Glen Alden. 2218 Otterburn Lane has 6,700 square feet, a pool, a wine cellar, a sauna, and was just recently totally renovated. Glen Alden is a 24-hour guard-gated community with a lake and other amenities right across the street from the highly desired Dogwood Elementary School. So whether you live in East Memphis, Germantown, downtown, midtown, or wherever, if you or someone you know is thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers, but make sure one of them is Sheldon and his crew, including Hugh, and their experience in strategic marketing program will set them apart from all the other brokers, just like hearing about that great house in Glen Alden. You can reach Sheldon at 483-0546 or at memphisrelocate.com. We'll put a bow on hour number 2 in just a minute.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56, 98.5, and 96.1.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Is your bank standing in the way of you and your sportsbook? Try Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. No more bank delays or failures. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Corky's is your home for authentic Memphis barbecue. Our dining rooms are open, or stop by our speedy drive-thru. Order your party packs today, starting at only $5.99 per person.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
If you're going on vacation, making a college campus visit, or if business takes you out of town, there's just no better place to board your dog than Barks and Recreation, 965 Reddick Cove between Bud Davis Cadillac and the Blue Plate Cafe in East Memphis. Boarding, daycare, grooming, we have the best of everything at Barks. Indoor-outdoor kennels so your family member can go in and out as they please. Indoor and outdoor play areas. 4 walks a day. Group play and individual attention from the best staff in the Mid-South, which includes an overnight staff to ensure the safety and comfort of your pet 24 hours a day. All reasons to choose Barks and Recreation above all other boarding and daycare facilities. BarksDaycare.com or 509-0909. Check us out and make your reservations now at BarksDaycare.com. If your dog could speak, he'd say Barks.
Now, more of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wolo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Ocean and Brett Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. Brett, I'm guessing you already have seen this and know this. But Ralph Russo has just tweeted out that the SEC has announced the Ole Miss Mississippi State football showdown, also known as the Egg Bowl, will be played on Thanksgiving night 2020.
Ralph's got good Mississippi sources. You know, Ralph ran the AP desk in Jackson.
Yeah.
99, 2000 to 03, 04, I think.
And you like it in that position, right? On Thanksgiving night?
Dave, I do. Now, but let me explain it. I know a lot of people don't that go to the game. There's some on our crew that doesn't like it because of family and little kids, big kids, and things like that. I like being busy on Thanksgiving. Last year when we didn't play on Thanksgiving, I enjoyed Thanksgiving with my mother, and I'm really going to miss it. But I like being busy on Thanksgiving, and I like that game, that great game, Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving night, because then I can go to Iron Bowl on Saturday.
Right.
But I also like the panache, the give and take around it on Thanksgiving. You'll see Ole Miss and State people tailgating with each other, sharing Thanksgiving-type foods at the tailgate, and then no holds barred when the game starts.
Well,
I love that game, and I'm going to say it again, even though it got maybe a lot over the top for a few years. I like my Egg Bowl just like it is.
Well, you will have it for the next 2 years, 2021 and 2022. It will be on Thanksgiving evening. So that is really cool.
That's the only college game on, and it goes up against the NFL game. I guess that will be the Amazon NFL Network type game, and late after, the kind of the end of the Cowboys game sometimes might eke into it, but I love that game. I love the histrionics around it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think that's perfect. This portion of the show brought to you by Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and the Visa gift card give back. Up to $1,500 of Visa gift cards if you get the new Carrier Infinity technology. That system is outstanding. They'll give you $1,500. Now, if your system has 2 units, how about $3,000? That'll come in handy. And if that's not enough, John says, I'm going to give you an April air cleaner. That gets the dust out of your house, a 10-year parts warranty, and a free Nest thermostat. That's about $2,000 in freebies. And just to make it even better, how about easy payment plans with systems as low as $139? Anybody can afford that. 384-3511. Get the gift cards, get the new technology. 384-3511. Conway Services. Baseball today. I know you're happy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am happy. Here's my hunch why they just announced 2 years, because with the big TV deal with CBS about to change, I think a lot of those things could change. I think you could see 2 or 3 games in the future on Friday where it's really just been one, mostly LSU, Arkansas for a long time, Arkansas, Mizzou now, and there was been a time or two that the Iron Bowl was played on Friday. There was a time or two that the Egg Bowl was played on Friday. In 07 and 08, the Egg Bowl was played on Friday.
Huh,
so I think
right.
that's why it's just 2 years.
Yeah. So
07 was the famous Ed Orgeron going for it, and it cost him his job. And then 08 was the game in Oxford, Houston Nutt's first year.
Yeah. Baseball today, Cardinals will win 2-0. So the St. Louis Cardinals now all of a sudden are 23-15, a 3-game lead on the Brewers, 4 on the Reds, 5 on my Cubbies, who've lost a couple in a row. White Sox were winners, though. And the White Sox now are 22-13. They got a game-and-a-half lead on Cleveland. Cubs need to beat Cleveland tonight. That's for sure. Washington will win.
White Sox best percentage in baseball, isn't it?
Yep, it is. 9 games, over 500. Toronto beats Atlanta today.
629 baseball.
Yeah, yep. And Detroit a winner over Kansas City. That's the baseball from this afternoon. This final portion of our second hour is brought to you by the good folks at Dinstall's. Dinstall's Candies. About 120 years now of sweet traditions. They had an unbelievable Mother's Day. And I told you about the strawberries. This is the best strawberry they've had in years. Normally she moves on from one place to another, always to get the freshest, and there was this incredible batch out of Louisiana, and Becky Dinstall says, I got to have it, and she went and got it. And if you want strawberries now, and they had a whole bunch of them for Mother's Day, you got to get them. These are the best strawberries I've had. I went out of my way to get them to make sure I tried them. After she said that, they're outstanding. And, of course, they got all 5 locations open starting today, downtown, Friday, Saturday. You know they'll be open always in Laurelwood, always where they make it in Pleasant View, Germantown and Collierville. So many places to go and so many great candies. If you're not just sold on the strawberries, which you should be, try the Cashew Crunch. Try the Turtlettes. It's the best chocolate around, and their fudge is award-winning. And if you get the fudge with the mint, woo, that's a home run every time. Dinstall's. You will love it. We take a timeout. When we return, it's time to talk Tigers with the one and only Greg Gaston. He is right around the corner.
Hey, sports fans, if you're looking for auto body work for your car or truck, 3A Collision in Bartlett has you covered. We are factory certified with 13 different manufacturers, including GM, Ford, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Infiniti, Nissan, Acura, Honda, Hyundai, Kia, and Fiat. We're the only GM certified collision repair shop in the greater Memphis area. 3A Collision is proud to be voted Memphis Best Collision Repair by the Commercial Appeal 3 years in a row. 3A Collision specializes in performing proper repairs using specific manufacturer guidelines. We're a locally family-owned business, and we genuinely care about the well-being of our customers. Certified repairs are safe repairs. Why trust anyone but the best? At 3A Collision, no need for an appointment. We always have trained and courteous estimators available for you. 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. At 3A Collision, we're all about the best customer service and quality of our workmanship. 3A Collision, 6420 Summer Avenue.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
Frontier Western Store is open and ready to serve you for all your needs in boots, apparel, pet food, and more. Frontier is proud to be a local leader here in the Mid-South when it comes to boots. Stop by the store today for an incredible selection of name brand work and dress boots. Come browse aisles and aisles of top quality boots at everyday low prices in their world famous boot showroom. Dan Post, Rocky, Durango, Twisted X, Georgia, Ariat, and many more. There's so many styles, colors, and fits available, you might need a hand picking out your favorites. Luckily, Frontier's knowledgeable sales staff will cheerfully assist you with any questions you have and ensure the proper fit of your new boots. Frontier also has an amazing selection of jeans and shirts by Wrangler, Ariat, and Carhartt, as well as a fully stocked women's boutique department with thousands of tops and dresses at unbelievable prices. New arrivals often. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together, so the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, W253DF Memphis, and WIVG Tunica Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Welcome back to Sportstime on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sportstime is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Final hour on this busy Thursday, we visit with Greg Gaston on all things Tigers from the Tigers sideline. Coming up next with Greg Gaston from our midday show alongside Eli Savoy. That's coming up next after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour, and that's DeSoto Auto Sales. Visit their website, DeSotoAutoSales.com. People are wanting cars, and you can go to their website and see all those beautiful cars and the many happy referrals and testimonials at DeSotoAutoSales.com, or get down to 5704 Goodman Road where sales are busy, but they've got room for you. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales, 662-890-7184. All the cars test driven, all checked out bumper to bumper, thorough inspection of every single car, unlimited inventory, and that's saying something these days. Every make, every model, and if by chance they don't have the exact car you want, they'll go find it for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. You walk in, you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales, but they do care about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience because they know we live in a world today that time matters, and that's why they want you to test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in 45 minutes. That's a guarantee at DeSoto Auto Sales. In time to shop over your busy lunch hour, or like right now, right after work, in time to get home and get things done tonight around the house at DeSoto Auto Sales, 5704 Goodman Road, 662-890-7184. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. Greg Gaston, he's brought to you every week by the law office of Stephen Leffler and by Mount Moriah Auto Sales, and it's fun to visit with Greg because there's Tiger news all the time.
Well, there is. The big story, let's be honest, today, it's the bridge, and that's going to be the big story for a while. But it's the Grizz in Sacramento, and this is a major game tonight, no question about that. You want to get this one, rest everybody tomorrow, and then the big showdown Sunday, big-time exposure for the Grizz and Golden State Warriors for basically the 8 or 9 positions. So that is really the story, but there's always, as you said, time to talk Tigers. There's another big interesting story I want to get into with Greg, and that is the Pac-12 hiring a commissioner today that came from the entertainment business, which to me is interesting because it's all about the entertainment business. So I think Pac-12 did a pretty good job there. But let's start, Greg, with the rumors from yesterday, one from John Rothstein, that the UCF sharpshooter Brandon Mahan told Rothstein that he is receiving interest from Kansas, Georgia Tech, Georgia, Texas Tech, Arkansas, Marquette, Arizona State, and the Tigers. And then he said, and this one's a real get, this is Jeff Goodman, who said that Quincy Guerrier, and I think that's how you pronounce it, has cut his list to 4. Illinois, Arizona State, Oregon, and Memphis, which, according to Goodman, whoever gets this guy is one of the best transfers to hit the portal. Neither of them are a point guard. Guerrier is a big-bodied forward, and Mahan is a sharpshooting guard. Doesn't seem that really that's a need for either. You'd want the kid from Syracuse because he's a quality player that could probably be an NBA prospect, and there's not a point guard in there. So I'm not sure you really want necessarily either of those guys.
Well, first of all, good afternoon, gentlemen, and I would have to think there's a method to the madness with Penny Hardaway, always looking to improve the roster, and Guerrier has proven himself at Syracuse, so he has some numbers to back it up.
Yeah.
So if you can improve your team, you have the 2 scholarships, then you're going to use them if you think those players can help. But I'm with you 100%. I still don't understand what the game plan is at the point guard position. We had Derek Murray on the program who covers and scouts out the players getting ready for college and the NBA draft. He was here for the Iverson Classic over the weekend, and he says he's very close with members of the coaching staff, and he couldn't spill the beans or tell the secrets, but he basically had the same question I did about where they're going to go with that point guard position. He did talk about Josh Minot as a possible down the road ball handler, so another guy that could handle the ball like a Jonathan Lawson or even Lester Quinones, who has done that in the past. So there's guys that certainly would be comfortable with the ball, but just how strong would they be without a point guard who has been there, done that? Now, Alex Lomax obviously brings 3 years of experience, but I don't know how many times I can keep saying that I love Lomax. He's a glue guy. He's a big part of this program. And I know he's a security blanket for Penny, but I just don't see him as the starting point guard on a team that makes a real deep run in the NCAA tournament because he lacks the ability to score the basketball. Yeah, so
Greg, I don't either, and I'm not trying to be over the top on anybody, and I'm not trying to be too nitpicky with this next one. I want both of y'all to jump in on this. I know you will. There's a difference between being on the ball and some handling the ball duties during the game. There's a difference between that and a point guard, isn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah, when push comes to shove and you're playing better teams with better defenders, and the pressure is revved up, how is somebody who's okay with the ball but not a true point guard going to be able to handle that pressure? So I really do believe. Now, I don't know what's out there. I know there's a million guys still in the portal for some reason. It doesn't seem to empty out. And I would imagine some of those guys are point guards, but you got to put your trust in the Penny that he feels either comfortable with what he has. I know he's going after some, but hasn't been able to.
He knows that position well.
Yes, he certainly does. And Waldo, you're right. The 2 guys right now he's looking at are not point guards, but maybe there's still somebody out there because I do believe they are not done completing this roster.
Oh no, they have those 2, and I'm sure he's going to be real choosy about the 2 that he's going to take. I agree. I think it was proven last year that for whatever reason, Alo is a better player coming off the bench. I cannot tell you why that is. I don't have that answer. But I do think that he's better watching the game for a little bit and then coming in. And I don't know, maybe it's the other team gets a little more fatigued and he's fresher and he gets into the game better and has more energy at the end. I cannot tell you what the answer is, but he was better off the bench. And so if you're looking for the guy that really starts, knows the game plan right off the bat, gets the team into the offense, can still defend, because don't forget, Alo was a factor on the other side of the ball. We tend to forget that there is a defensive side. Just asked Dylan Brooks the other night on what he did with Luka Doncic. And Alo led the team, if I recall correctly, in steals. So even if he's not the greatest on-ball defender because of height on occasion, he is really a good help defender. And that's where he comes up with his steals. So that's a big part of why he still is important, and I think is critical to their success. But I wouldn't be, upset if they found somebody that was, a little bit better at breaking somebody down at the end of the game with the ball in his hands. And that was going to be that kid that decided to go to Michigan. And I give you credit because I had heard he was leaning to Memphis, and somehow Michigan got him away at the end. But you had that one right, Mr. Gaston.
I can't tell you why Desmond Bane plays better coming off the bench than in the starting line for the Grizzlies. So I certainly, I'm with you with Alex Lomax. I don't know what the answer is, why he seems to be this energizer bunny coming off the bench, but he's better suited coming off the bench. And I do believe as well as he plays defensively, he's scrappy, he gets the steals. There's going to be mismatches where he plays a bigger guard in an NCAA tournament game, and you would feel that you're not going to be able to handle that because of just who he is with his size. I mean, nobody plays harder and has a bigger heart than Alex Lomax, so don't get me wrong. That guy is an integral part of this team. But think about their great tournament runs and some of the great point guards that they've had in the past. They're all able to score the ball. They got great handles. They don't turn the ball over as much as he does. So I think that's the one area of concern. The other area of concern would be the big, even though the game has gotten away from the typical back-to-the-basket big. They have Dandridge, and you hope that he's 100% because I like what he brings to the table. But after that, it's going to be more like a positionless basketball, and that's why the kid Gary A. from Syracuse can fit in because he can play. If they go small, he could play the 5, which is something DeAndre Williams, I would imagine right now, is penciled in to do if that's the way Penny runs the show. When there are times that he goes with Dandridge, it would be more a traditional 5. But other times it's going to be basically a 3-4 playing the 5 position.
Don't forget Onu. And I don't know if you saw the Twitter video of him offensively with footwork, handling the ball, shooting a little bit from the wing. I'm not going to tell you that he's Jaren Jackson Jr. at the moment, but I will tell you he is much further advanced offensively and bigger than Moussa Cisse was, just based on that video that I saw. So I'm expecting that he will play. I'm not saying he's starting, but because I do kind of think they're going to like DeAndre Williams in a small ball 5 because that was really effective last year. But they do have 2 centers with Dandridge and Onu. The biggest need is we go back to it again. It's that point guard position.
Well, Onu, I like what he brings to the table. Everything I have seen, I've seen the video as well. I've talked to his buddy John Camden a million times. He loves the guy. But how many times are we going to fall into the trap of a freshman walking in there and all of a sudden being a killer? We know how long it took Derrick Rose, for goodness sakes, a former NBA MVP, to get acclimated to the college game. We have to stop. We have to stop getting to that point where we go, well,
we can't.
Young,
We can't.
Wait. I'll give you another one from just last year, 2 years ago. Precious Achiuwa. There's more than just one guy. I mean, there's a big guy that can come out and play.
No, Precious, but he's in the NBA. He's with the Miami Heat. Are we ready to say Onu's already going to be in the NBA?
No, I am not saying
we had Cisse there, and we all got burned.
But I will say this. That year you had 2 guys, both bigs, that got into the NBA. I don't know, honestly, if we're being, putting all the cards on the table. I've said this before. Precious Achiuwa probably would have been a Memphis Tiger last year if James Wiseman had played because he would never have had the kinds of numbers that he got. And I mean, the guy
might have been a better year to come out this year.
He was the freshman of the year and the MVP. It's worked out. He was still a first-round draft choice. It worked out okay for Precious.
Well, again, that's putting the faith in Penny and the staff that the guys they recruit at some time are going to develop. Precious developed quicker. He was kind of forced into that situation to develop quickly because of James Wiseman. Others develop slower. Some don't develop at all. Then they look for greener pastures. So let's hope that these young guys – I like this recruiting class. I said it last year when he was putting together this recruiting class that I liked it a lot. And then you throw in that Jonathan Lawson's now part of this recruiting class, and they get the transfers that they got, including Tim Timberlake and Chandler Lawson. So, look, I'm excited about it. I certainly am. But I am still concerned, like you said, Wolo, and I will be concerned until they show me what the game plan is with the point guard position. It's the most integral part of the game. is to have a leader out there as a point guard. Who is it going to be? Is it going to be a bunch of different guys, or are they going to find somebody, or is it going to end up being his security blanket, Alex Lomax?
Greg, not miraculously, but isn't it something? We're, 2 months removed from the season or so, month and a half, 2 months. And not that a lot had to be forgiven, but all is really forgiven for the first 3 years, for this year. Winning the NIT certainly helped kind of salve everything. But I feel like people are just as excited on May 13th, 2021 as they were in May before when Penny Hardaway was 0-0.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I don't know if the NIT championship carries that much weight, but when you combine how well they played in the latter half of the year, especially when they got
losses even.
Losses. The Houston games. Who else played Houston that close? Nobody, until they finally got knocked out in the tournament after a great run, the NCAA tournament.
In the Final Four.
You forget, right? How quickly we forget.
Right.
At least I did. I was thinking Elite Eight. Yeah, Final Four. So you have a team that should have, well, I shouldn't say should have, but could have knocked off.
Should have. I'll say should have.
When you miss 22 free throws in 2 games,
the dude
come on.
Cranks it in from midcourt.
I'm trying to be nice,
Okay.
but you guys are right.
Sorry I yelled at you, Greg. I'm sorry.
No, you guys are right. They should have, could have, would have, should have, all that stuff, but they didn't. They didn't get it done. But they had 2 golden opportunities, and we know the rest. The rest is history. But the team, the way they played, they changed the offense. I like what Penny did as far as rotations are concerned, moving Lomax to the bench, coming off the bench, and then they go out there and they win the NIT title. So even though it's 3 years and no NCAA tournament appearance, I think the juices are starting to flow again for what could be next season. But God forbid if they go into the next season, they start the year off with whatever tournament that is they're playing in, they lose a couple times, we start finger pointing at how young they are, and then it's just going to be a broken record. That can't happen. They have to go in there and from the get-go be strong, win big games early on, and then the sky's the limit. And I think there's a good chance they could do that. That's why there's excitement about the basketball team. Plus, fans will be able to get back into the arena, for goodness sake.
We hope. That should be the case.
There's no reason we shouldn't.
Well, and what was the story we heard earlier today that came from Dr. Gupta on CNN, and that's been one of the more conservative, and it's the only time I'll ever say
now that
conservative
was outdoors.
CNN.
That was outdoor.
Right. I know that.
He said today, Greg, there's not a single case, not one, in the whole COVID deal from wherever you want to start the starting line to now. There's not one transmissible case of anybody outdoors, not one.
And that's why we should have full capacity at football stadiums this fall, based
on
a guy who's been very conservative.
We should have it at AutoZone Park next week.
We should, Brett. But you are hearing school after school after school with every passing day already announced they're going full bore for attendance in the fall.
All right, let me switch gears a little bit. This is not necessarily Tigers, but it's college athletics, and I think it's very telling. George Kliavkoff, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, who is
Dave, I can tie it to the Tigers, but go ahead.
Okay, we'll let you do that. The president of entertainment and sports for MGM Resorts International. He was hired today as the next commissioner of the Pac-12. He did not come the usual route like your assistant commissioner or a guy who's been a commissioner of a different kind of a league and is moving up. No, this is a guy who came from an entertainment background. Although he was a student athlete, he gets a 5-year contract, and he got unanimous support from all of the Pac-12's presidents and chancellors. And I think most of the time, if it's close, they all change their votes to make it look like it's unanimous anyway. But my point is this. They went outside of the usual feeder system to find a guy who understands entertainment because Even though they got $32 million a team last year from TV, the Big Ten got $55 million and the SEC got $45 million, and they want the Pac-12 network to be successful, and they've struggled with that. They understand the issues of NIL and all those contracts that are involved, so they're getting a guy who understands contracts and entertainment. I think it's a really brilliant move by the Pac-12, who had a dud of a commissioner the last 5 or 10 years.
It is so far outside the box, you can't even see the box. The box is a distant memory. And at first you thought, what the heck are they doing? And then when you started to read about it and you looked at his resume and what he has done, I think it could be brilliant.
Yep.
It absolutely could be brilliant. Because I'll tell you what,
Agreed.
Worst case scenario, he's selling the sizzle, not the steak. You hope the Pac-12 brings the steak, but he is going to sell the sizzle. Everybody is going to be interested in what's going on with the Pac-12, and he will make it sound like they're the damn SEC. Let's be honest with you. This is a marketing guy. This is an entertainment guy. He knows all that. Look at everything he's been involved with MGM, and then with internet gambling and things of that nature, sports books. So this guy he's a modern commissioner. He's a 21st century. He's this new 2020s decade type of guy. And
it's a Rosellian resume.
When he took over, absolutely. The guy was an attorney. He's intelligent. Yes, he doesn't have the background of dealing with the student athletes like others have who are elevated to that position. But I think, and especially a guy who backs the student athletes, as we got the NIL on top of us. He's already said the expansion. Now, of course, that makes sense with the Pac-12. You want to expand.
There's the Tiger.
There you go.
You're into it, right? But I'm with you guys. I think this is extremely exciting for the Pac-12 not to go.
I love it out of the box.
Fogey, right. Just take some cardboard cutout and throw them in there for Larry Scott. Instead, do something. And it also tells you where we are today with collegiate athletics and the relationship with legalized gambling, as opposed to where we were 10 years ago.
And think about who they took a swing at. They took a swing at Greg Byrne. A lot of people thought he would leave Alabama to take that. They took a swing at Oliver Luck. Oliver Luck kind of pulled what you pull when you know you're not going to be the vice presidential running mate, and you go out there and say, I'm turning it down. I don't want it. He had to jump out there early today and say he didn't want it, and they weren't going to hire him. They were going with this different model, and I love it. Let's just say the Pac-12 goes to Pac-16, and they take in BYU, Utah State, San Diego State, and
Boise State.
All right, they take that. That would have to move the Big 12 that only has 10 teams at least back to the old math, to Big 12, if not to Big 14 or Big 16. Tigers in play, and preferably if all this would start about June 15th after the NBA playoffs, and we could write it as a topic to SEC Media Days and to the WGC FESJI. Our summers are made on Memphis Sports Talk Radio.
Let me ask you this twist to that, because I don't dispute your logic at all. But here's what worries me. Texas and Oklahoma don't really love each other. I could imagine one of them splitting, most likely Texas, and they go to the Pac-12. Then now you got a little different situation. And BYU is a problem because no one seems to be able to get along with them. They don't want to share anything with their network, and they don't play on Sunday. So I don't know what happens with them, but it's certainly great fodder. It's a little like the fodder that we had 2 weeks ago when we were talking about the American expansion.
Right, which, by the way, Chris Vanini was on with us today from The Athletic, and he just poo-pooed that tweet that came out about that. But as far as the American, and if they were able to add those teams, he was saying, yes, they would be in a position of a little bit more power. But getting back to what you guys just said, let me ask you this question. Does adding teams to the Pac-12, do you think that's something that's pivotal, or with what they have now to make that more important, where they are more of a power player in the whole scheme of things? Because right now they're kind of like, I'm not going to say they're the laughable Power Five, but they've been.
No, they are. They're the laughable Power Five.
But we have learned from what happened this past year with the Big Ten and opting out and then deciding they were going to play, that they were riding on the coattails of the Big Ten. They were the Big Ten's little brother. They got to get out of that shadow. Can they get out of the shadow with what they have now, or do they need to add teams like you just mentioned?
Let's clarify. Let's clarify, because they were not a little brother at all to anybody when it came to the NCAA basketball tournament. They turned out to be they were under-respected, but they turned out to be the best darn league in postseason. There's no question about it. The Big Ten was the most overrated. But if
football,
let's just think right. Let's just think about if you were the guy trying to do the deal, right? What drives it? Brett loves to say it because it's his favorite sport. What drives it is football, and football is the king. So you're right. Now, what's the second biggest thing you got to think about if you're trying to build your league?
And that's what he said today. He said it.
But the second biggest thing is TV. So now you got to line up markets with that school that plays good football. Well, that's Texas. My goodness, if you get Texas, you're getting Houston and Dallas and Austin and San Antonio.
A lot of TVs.
You're getting huge TV markets. So that is the school that I would go off after first.
You got Texas, but you guys were talking about San Diego State, and that's not moving the needle.
Texas is moving the needle, and then you get a couple of others to do it. Right. Well, then you get a couple of others to do it. If you go two, then either San Diego State would be terrific. San Diego's market is part L.A. I don't think UCLA would be all crazy about that, but that would be one. Or you, like I say, BYU, you're bringing in the whole state of Utah. They got their own network.
No. Maybe I misunderstood. I didn't hear you say Texas before, but yes, the fill in the gap.
Texas is the first one. That's the school you go after.
Yeah, I didn't even hear you. I thought you were saying just now BYU's okay, but San Diego State, BYU, San Jose State, that's not. But you mentioned Texas, and absolutely. If you can lure Texas, I don't think they can, personally. But if this guy has those visions, nice. Why not?
Right.
Why not try to make what is a good conference a great
Think how many
conference?
Texas alums he's comped in casinos.
Oh, my God.
Well, all I know is this. I only
with
want
10-gallon hats, right?
I only want to taking one.
And big old boots and belt buckles.
I want him to take one from the Big 12 to get the dominoes going, and then Memphis has a chance. And then, like you said, we've got fodder for the summer to talk about.
No question.
Greg, as always, we appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Greg brought you by.
Greg Gassi brought
you.
Every week from the Tiger sideline. That was fun today. And we do like fodder, we do like dominoes, and we love the law offices of Stephen Leffler and the great folks at Mount Moriah Auto Sales. Also, you're thinking about dinner right now, and you want an early one, you got great locations at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova for Jason's Deli. Dine in, to go, or delivery, wholesome food forever. It's a family thing, and you can wrap it up in any of those locations with the complimentary free ice cream. It's back, and it's flowing bigger and better than ever. And tell you something else that's back. The catering, anytime, anywhere, for office events, for family get-togethers. The catering's really building back after a long pause with all the COVID restrictions last year. But we have plowed through that, and they appreciate you sticking by them, and almost 200 Memphis area associates that part of this Jason's Deli team with all those great salads, the chicken club salad, the big chef salad, the chicken Caesar salad, my favorite, the taco salad, the meats, the breads, the spreads, the cheeses, all the great food at Jason's Deli, where it's all about choice. Regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, you will be delighted at Jason's Deli. Plenty of organic food to choose from, that great salad bar, over 30 items there, and back to you can prepare it however you want with all those 30 items. Again, locations at Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
I for you did research on Jason's Deli, by the way, and I wanted you to know.
Good work, Dave.
They did have the salad
at the golf
thing.
course and at Jason's Deli.
Right.
He's doing the hard work,
I am trying to keep us relevant and on top of things. And though actually,
real nose of the grind.
If you're doing a little salad thing, or you're doing the ice cream, so I like the ice cream because I can fill it up myself as much as I want.
No poacher at the ice cream machine.
I am, but that'll give you little gloves now to put on if you're doing your own salad. salad thing or the ice cream. It's really cool. They're all over it. This portion of the show also brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai, and of course, Genesis of Olive Branch, that great luxury car, the best bang for your dollar, more little bells and whistles for the money you pay in a Genesis car than any other of the luxury cars that are out there. And then the Hyundai's so safe, you're going to love it. You will love everything about Homer Skelton Hyundai. Back in a minute.
Same great shows.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays.
What's up? It's Sports 56 Happy Hour.
A new spot on the FM dial. Check out Sports 56 on our new FM home at 98.5.
Hey, I heard that you just got a new car.
Yes, I sure did, and I could not believe how simple it was.
Really? Tell me what happened.
I bought my car at Cars Inc. They are family owned, and the choices of cars were the best I've ever seen. They even said they could price match with anyone and help me with whatever financing I needed.
Wow, it does sound like they know what they are doing.
Their family has been in the car business for over 30 years, and they're excited about being in Memphis.
Where are they?
5095 Cummington Way, and their phone number is 901-623-7180.
Installing brand new carpets shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Enjoy a simplified installation experience at the Home Depot by licensed local professionals. Get an unbeatable selection of affordable styles, colors, and fabrics that are durable and low maintenance, including options that are odor and stain resistant. And right now, you can get your carpet installed for free. Get started today at the Home Depot. Free carpet installation on purchases of $699 or more. No square foot minimum. Excludes in-stock styles. U.S. only. See store for details.
It's time Memphis. Join John Morant, Tyus Jones, and your Memphis Grizzlies tonight at 7 p.m. as they take on the Sacramento Kings, presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Tickets start at just $12, but they won't last long. Check out grizzlies.com/tickets today.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Halfway home of hour number 3 on this Thursday edition of Sports Time. It's brought to you in part by James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center, home of the Stant. You know what the Stant is. Now it's the only place in Memphis. All the clothing stores in Memphis, I happen to think this is the one for men's clothing for sure. But part of it is because they have the Stant system, and they're the only ones in Memphis that have the Stant system. It is the custom fit shirt and now pant system. A custom fitting system that is unlike any other. The best fitting shirts I've ever had, and I didn't have to take 20 different measurements. 3 measurements a week later, $100, a custom fit shirt that looks so good on me and feels so comfortable. Now they're doing the same thing with a pant, except it's only 2 measurements, and I swear to you, the leg, the seat, the bottom, all made to your perfect style and fit of your body. It's amazing. I don't know how they do it, but they do. The only place you can get that is the James Davis Men's Store. And ladies and gentlemen, they have all the new styles out there. They got all the summer clothes, all the spring clothes, all the colors of the rainbow in there. Still the same guys, the same crew that will serve you. And the only place that you can get the Stant custom fit system, which is so affordable, all you got to do is get to Laurelwood, tell them we sent you to James Davis Men's Store. There is a breaking baseball story that you're going to love, Brett Norsworthy. ESPN just keeps doing it. Major League Baseball and ESPN have agreed to a 7-year contract extension that will show 30 regular season games in addition to wild card games. So this deal includes 25 weeks of Sunday Night Baseball, the MLB Little League Classic, opening night, and the Home Run Derby. And if MLB expands to 8 playoff series in 2022, which I bet they will, ESPN will carry the entire schedule. They carry currently 2 of the wild card games. And according to ESPN, there will be a game on their subscription service, ESPN Plus. Another reason why, Brett Norsworthy, it's worth the $5 a month. So you
$60, Dave.
Yeah, I got it. $60, and you get to watch. I think it's every night they got a game, subject to local blackout. I don't understand how that one works.
Today I had to go to the YouTube, and I didn't go, and I've never been. You know, one thing that is good news, and ESPN's really locking down their rights fees with a lot of these leagues. One thing I wish, and this is not direct, I promise it. If I lived in Ketchum, Idaho, I would say the same thing. ESPN controls all the Major League Baseball radio postseason, but then so many local affiliates. And if we were the local ESPN affiliate, we probably wouldn't either. Then they don't carry it because so many people want to carry local programming. I understand that. I just wish it would not be such a search for baseball playoff games on the radio come playoff time. And that's not directed to anybody here locally. I promise you. Again, if I was living in Haverty Grace, Maryland, I'd say the same thing because it's hard anywhere to see if anybody really cares.
I'm confused. Are you telling me ESPN carries the playoff games, right?
ESPN Radio has the exclusive. They have everything. They have, like on the day the games are at 12, 3, 7, and 9:30. They have every one of them. But in almost any market, you could be in Salem, Oregon, and I don't think they carry that game that conflicts with, air quotes here, local programming. And I understand that. I've been on both ends of it, but as the consumer of it, when you're out driving, like me, on a Friday, driving to wherever during college football season, you cannot find an ESPN affiliate that's carrying a Major League Baseball game.
So are you telling me that Pat Hughes or Mike Shannon are not doing the playoff games on their respective local stations?
They are.
Okay.
You can catch that Brave, but I'm talking the national package is ESPN, and he's really good. He was with Vital for years on college basketball. Who is the play-by-play guy? He's really good, Dave. It just escapes me.
Like Gary Cohn?
No. He's really good. He was with Vital for years on college basketball.
On TV?
On TV, and he wanted to scale back, but he loves baseball and still likes doing it. But, I mean, you can be in New Orleans.
You really got me wondering who that could
what
possibly
is his name?
be.
I can see him, and I can't think of his name.
Because he used to do a lot of games with Brad Nessler, but I don't know Nessler does baseball.
No, he doesn't. Nessler's busy in football during the fall.
I've heard national broadcast by the old Mets announcer, Gary Cohn, who started with ESPN, and he's really good. I like him a lot.
But, I mean, you can be in Baton Rouge or New Orleans on a Friday afternoon or a Saturday afternoon, and you can't get the national call, and you might not be in that area to get the local.
Huh. I really, if you have Sirius XM radio, you can always get ESPN. That's for sure.
But you can get it, but sometimes even that they'll be carrying like a college football package. Go ahead, Drew. You got his name.
Caller brought it up. Dan Schulman. Is that who it is?
Dan Schulman. That's it. He's
Dan
great.
Schulman.
Dan Schulman. And Dave, we saw him in St. Louis, and remember we were talking to him over by the piano in the lobby of Hilton at the ballpark, and I told him, I said, what you do better than anybody is you get out of the way for Vital. And he started laughing. He goes, you have to. He's a force of nature.
Yeah. Well, he's now Dan Schulman still does, I want to say, Toronto baseball. Now, he may not be doing it this year because they're not in Toronto. He's Canadian. And Dan still does the main game now with Jay Billis, ESPN basketball. But he replaced, if you'll recall, John Miller as the Sunday Night Baseball guy.
Yeah. And then he wanted to scale back.
He wanted to scale back. That was his choice. So I think he just does ESPN basketball, and I think he does the Toronto Blue Jays.
And he does that national baseball package.
Well, no.
Getting ready to be the Buffalo Blue Jays
for Sportsnet for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay.
He's great. I love him.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you, caller. Thank you. Somebody helped me because my brain wasn't working.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. He is Dan Shulman is just an outstanding
he was so nice
person,
to
by
us
the
too.
way. Yeah, he's a great guy.
Remember talking to it was him and Tim Kirkjian, and man, they were nice. That was fun. One of the all-time trips too.
Yeah, no, he is a great guy. And when he was a younger guy, just coming up, he was part of this radio group in Canada that used to hire our good friend George Hoffman to string Chicago events and send them to Canada. So George knew Shulman before he became big. He was of course he's a little younger than George, but he was coming up the ladder.
You know what we're doing tomorrow at 3:45 right after we get through visiting with Bruce Marshall?
You're going to tell me it's hockey picks?
You got it. This time it matters.
This time it matters. What was your record last year in this?
Not good.
I
didn't concentrate on it. It was the fall of Stanley Cup, Dave. I didn't have my full faculties on it.
What's the name of the new Seattle hockey team?
My Kraken.
No, wrong again. It's your Kraken.
My Kraken. It just doesn't sound like you should say that over AM radio.
Well, you can. That's legal because that is their name. I can't wait to hear what you come up with tomorrow. That'll be a lot of you'll spend hours of research with Google tonight. And you'll be going, what is a hockey puck? You'll start there because you always go back to the basics.
Here's the real one, seriously. I still don't know what the blue line is.
You do know what the blue line is. Come on.
For all sides. It's that easy.
Well, there's two blue lines, one entering your offensive side, one your defensive side, and the area in between is center ice, and there is a red line that goes right through the middle of the rink, and it's a rink.
That's what it is.
That's
what it is. Yeah,
it's not a field.
It's soccer on frozen water.
Soccer on frozen. Well, you know what? We do have indoor soccer, and you are right. Like if you're watching a soccer game, or let's say you're broadcasting an indoor soccer game, the rhythm with hockey is very similar.
Really? Is that right?
Yeah. And they knock it off the board same way. I mean, you're using a hockey rink.
No fighting in the soccer, though.
No, hockey is the only game that does not
you won't
punish
see
you
any
really for
fighting in the playoffs. They scale that way back.
Oh, they have. Years ago, when they were trying to make an argument for it being a national sport in America, the National Hockey League, after getting blasted by Sports Illustrated and other more well-respected sports entities, decided they were not going to allow hooliganism. Yeah, no, they cleaned it up, and
boy, ESPN's back in with the hockey now.
They are.
It was persona non grata. It was like you couldn't mention it for years there, but you signed a big rights deal, and they're giving updates and showing highlights.
But give them their due. They realized after a couple of years that hockey was still very much in the fabric of American sport, and they hired Barry Melrose when they didn't have any rights to any games anymore, and they helped make Barry Melrose a star.
I love it going.
I love Barry Melrose.
I love him.
Now
I thought Barry Melrose and Steve Levy had some of the great team on-air chemistry of all time.
They did. I agree with you there 100%. And there was a guy, and I wish I could remember his name because he said some politically incorrect things.
What was it?
On the Canadian on CBC, on the Canadian Broadcasting Company, and he was out. Like this was 2 years ago, but he was the face of the sport on television in Canada, much the way Doc Emmerich was in America. But he was the analyst; he wasn't the play-by-play guy. I miss Doc Emmerich. I can tell you that right now. You agree? Don't you think it's something's missing with these guys?
This was his time of year.
Yeah. He truly was the voice of
Don
the
Cherry.
sport.
Our friend Chuck
Don
picks us
Cherry.
up. Don Cherry.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll thank everybody who just sent me one of those two. Don Cherry, what a great character he was. But in this day and age, words matter.
Well,
words do matter. Let's take our final timeout. When we come back, it will be Taco Bell crunch time.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
Whether you're driving for distance, pitching for precision, or putting to win it all, come to Edwin Watts Golf Shop to get custom fit for all your clubs throughout your bag. Hit a few balls and let our team show you the latest swing technology and data that will help optimize your game. Having each club tailored to become your gamers will help you start shooting lower scores. Let Edwin Watts Golf Shops help you make every shot the perfect one. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
All right, is that a Q2 or a Q3 expense?
Dwayne's CPA went MIA.
W9.
To keep his books and his sanity, he needs to find a replacement ASAP.
Hey, Johnny, have you ever heard of a fungible good?
Indeed can help him hire the people he needs.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job, you immediately get your short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job criteria. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkheim for Sunrise Chevy. You know Sunrise has the best selection, price, and has financing for everyone. But did you know you can bring your vehicle to Sunrise's award-winning, state-of-the-art certified service department no matter where you bought it? Maintenance, engine, transmission, brakes, or tires. Bring it to Sunrise. Need body work? Tell your insurance agent you want to bring it to Sunrise. Schedule an appointment at sunrisememphis.com. Find new roads to Collierville. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. To get into your better place, First Bank Mortgage makes decisions right here at home. Dedicated to helping you get to your better place, First Bank Mortgage. Call Daniel Mooney at 901-462-0145 today. NMLS 741022. Equal housing lender.
Welcome back to Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Dave Wolosian and Brad Norsworthy.
Final portion of our show, and it's brought to you by Mario's Pools. If you ever walked into a backyard and seen this gorgeous pool, and let me tell you, that beautiful pool, it just doesn't just happen. You need help. And Mario, and probably if you walked into someplace in Germantown or Collierville or even East Memphis, the odds are Mario had a hand in all of that. I mean, his team will either keep it right or they'll guide you every step of the way to do it yourself and make sure it is perfect. He's helped me a great deal, I can tell you that. And if you need a replacement pool liner, he's got the best price against all the major competitors and the best selection. I've purchased a few things with him, and he somehow has a way of finding something that is perfect for you and the best price you've seen anywhere. It's really cool. Total pool renovations, again, resurfacing, tile replacement, pool coping. Mario does it all, and he's fun to go talk to. So you can either call him on the phone, and that number is 552-3399, 552-3399, or just walk in the door in Germantown on Exeter and just BS with him because he loves pools, he loves the equipment, he loves talking to people. He truly loves sports, by the way, big time Chicago White Sox fan. That's what really got me going. And he'll remind you, don't be a slave to your pool. Call Mario Pools today. It's officially Taco Bell crunch time.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that?
Boop! Choo-choo!
What's happening, big dog? How you doing?
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
On one, on two, on three.
Hey!
Time for Taco Bell Crunch Time. Taco Bell, home of the crispy tortilla chips, topped with a double portion of either seasoned beef or shredded chicken, plus refried beans, nacho cheese sauce, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole, and a 3-cheese blend. Nachos Bel Grande, heaping portion of chips, topped with ground beef, tomatoes, beans, nacho cheese sauce, and a dollop of sour cream. Taco Bell, home to great food you get on your way home real fast, and they bring you crunch time every day.
Dave, I learned today that we entered play today with the best record in baseball being the Southsiders, the White Sox, and Tony La Russa. They started at .618 winning percentage. They ended even better. And I've heard some people, and Tony La Russa got properly crushed over not knowing. He said, I didn't know the rules to extra innings. I hate the stupid extra inning rules, but he still should know them, and he probably hates them as well. But he took over a loaded team. I don't know how much managing he's doing. I think a lot of people could have stepped into that job. The old guy, Rick Renicky, may have been able to do it. Stubby Clapp may have been able to do it if he'd have gotten that job. But Tony La Russa and the White Sox, they're off and cooking.
Well, they've had some injuries, too. He's been able to manage his way out of it. Here's the thing. I don't think people in Chicago are totally enamored with him, that if they keep winning, he'll win them over. And I thought he was a pretty stand-up guy to just go, look, I blew it. I didn't know that rule. I know it now. And I saw some other tweets that people said they are so happy it happened to him, other managers, because they wouldn't have known it either. I mean, it's a pretty new thing, and it's a pretty obscure deal. And I'm sure most of the managers knew, but I got a feeling that Tony La Russa wasn't the only one that did not know that. I knew. I learned a couple of things today. One, you just mentioned his name a little while ago when you're talking about Dan Shulman, Dickie V. And people know how much I like Dick Vitale because of his kindness to me and the adventures that I've had with him once or twice. But Dickie V raised $6.5 million over the weekend to fight children's cancer.
He's the secretariat of fundraising.
He's incredible. He does the Jimmy V thing. He does this a separate thing. How many different charities he does in the
Nobody says
Tampa,
no to.
Sarasota area? No, nobody does. And he's just a given guy. He really is. You might not love his shtick. Look, he helped grow college basketball, and what he has done off that sport is just fantastic.
Have you ever heard him say a bad word about anybody? Have you ever heard him really go in and take somebody apart not a time? Billy Packer wanted to fight with Vitale, and Dick Vitale was the bigger guy and wouldn't do it.
Right. No. I've heard Dick talk about other people and maybe some shortcomings to those other people off the record. I've never seen him do it publicly, though. That is for sure.
You've never seen him just really knock somebody's head off, and he's got the position where he could, and I'm with you. And he's Basketball Hall of Famer, ambassador for the game. Could have done without.
Wait, I got one more
I'm sorry.
that I like, and we got plenty of time. The NBA has created what they call the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Social Justice Champion Award. They couldn't pick the better guy because he was in college fighting with John Wooden to be able to express his feelings on social injustice and the Vietnam War. You're absolutely right.
And how controversial his commitment to his religion and the name change.
Absolutely. But he always had the courage of his conviction. I love that about him. It couldn't have a better name on a guy. And I love the way the NBA is doing this. They're going to nominate somebody from each team or each city, sort of the way they do the Walter Payton Award for public service.
It's the NBA version of the Walter Payton.
And I love it. And they couldn't have had a better name than that. Kareem
all-time leading scorer.
Yep.
Fourth in rebounds, number one in minutes played, clearly the greatest college player ever, three-time MOP of the Final Four.
Absolutely.
And just a legendary figure. When he received the Legacy Award on MLK Day from the Hyde Foundation at the Grizzlies game, that was one of the toppers. Could have done without this story around the NBA. Brooklyn in chemistry questions. Well, of course they have chemistry issues.
They never all
played together.
Exactly.
It's a pickup basketball team.
Right.
And this is a hard time to learn how to dance with everybody else come playoff time.
I could have done without the story coming out now of Houston, and I don't know if this is Tony Busby, the attorney for the 22 women who are all suing Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. But he has said that on TV, Fox 26 in Houston, some of the women that were interrogated by the National Football League and their lawyer, that he did not feel, or those women did not feel, that they were being respected during their first 3 meetings with the investigator. He said he's not sure whether he's going to let them speak with the league's investigators after that, or some of the other new clients. 4 of his clients met with the league's lead investigator, Lisa Friel, and that he has probably 4 more who want to meet with the NFL, but he's not sure. I don't know. I think that is a really tough
still early,
position.
But it's getting late.
Look, if this were 4 that I thought were just money grabbing, I would say he could maybe get beyond this. 22 women? You can't tell me that isn't a pattern. Most of them, masseuses?
Sounds like it.
I would have to say that, you could put into doubt how they all met him and how they were enticed to go meet him.
With or without him.
But clearly there was something beyond when they met him. And 22 of them is a big number. I think Texans and Deshaun Watson have a long, long road to hoe.
We'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye tonight on Grizzlies in Sacramento at FedEx Forum. Will it be the B team that beat Dallas or the A team with the B team playing tomorrow if they win tonight?
It'll be the A team.
Also, it'll be the A team. Portland at Phoenix late on TNT. Portland needs it for the 5 seed. Phoenix needs for the last of the flagging hopes for the 1 seed. Very compacted for the 4, 5, and 6 in the Eastern Division. Baseball, Yankees, Rays. Also in baseball, Red Sox, A's. And next week, 1 week from today, we'll be talking about the end of the first round of Glory's second shot when the PGA Championship is being played. But this week, it's in Dallas. And Jordan Spieth with a good round today for Drew.
What did Jordan Spieth shoot today?
He's 7 or 8 under.
Wow. So he's in the
9
mix.
under.
9 under. So he tied the lead. Look at that. Spieth, and he's got the controversial pick of Siwoo Kim. This could be a move maker.
Probably will get him booted out of the – but the Siwoo Kim pick will get him booted. So he really needs to pull it.
I told you, I'm going to countersue and just – flood you with paperwork.
Just drag it out.
By the time that it's all settled, I'm going to be like 40.
I got to start studying for the hockey
might
picks
not even
now. I want to win the hockey picks so bad.
I was just going to say, I figured you would do that because I do believe I won the hockey picks last year. Of course, I grew up
with it being the COVID year in the fall.
I grew up playing hockey.
Really doesn't count.
I'm the only one that ever saw an original.
You played youth hockey where
you
can't even. It's not even full contact.
You skate. You put on a uniform and skate around.
That makes you a better skater when you learn how to skate without using your stick for balance or hitting.
It takes
people.
hitting. You got to hit somebody.
You
got to lose a tooth.
Did
you ever lose a tooth playing hockey?
No.
Did you ever lose a tooth?
No.
Well, you didn't really play hockey then.
I bent my stick in the door just like Bobby Hull. He invented that, those curved sticks, and then everybody did it. It was great. We got to thank Zeke Terry for telling us how to get that new app to work about getting across the Mississippi River. Teresa Walker, Miss Tennessee AP, on the way the Titans did a good job in building this roster and, of course, on their schedule. And she says Major League Baseball would be a big hit in Nashville. I got to question that a little bit. Keith Smith down in Orlando, he explained the way the whole playoff system was going to work to us. And Paul Rogers, he thinks Medina Spirit is going to win the Preakness. We'll see you tomorrow.
Installing brand new carpets shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Enjoy a simplified installation experience at the Home Depot by licensed local professionals. Get an unbeatable selection of affordable styles, colors, and fabrics that are durable and low maintenance, including options that are odor and stain resistant. And right now, you can get your carpet installed for free. Get started today at the Home Depot. Free carpet installation on purchases of $699 or more. No square foot minimum. Excludes in-stock styles. U.S. only. See store for details.
As physicians, we know that what we do now will affect the future for us all.
The COVID-19 vaccine is now available. It's safe and very effective, and it's a great defense against coronavirus.
But we still need to continue to mask up, socially distance, and get tested.
Getting vaccinated will help us all get back to some semblance of normalcy.
Let's get vaccinated and tell your friends and family to do the same.
Memphis and Shelby County, get vaccinated. It's our best shot.
The thing about the Home and Auto Bundle from Progressive is that by now you've heard a lot of ads about the Home and Auto Bundle from Progressive. We don't even need the words the Home and Auto Bundle anymore to tell you that you could save big with the ring-tailed lemur from Progressive, or that every hot peach cobbler comes with round-the-clock service and protection. And that's the thing about the goat with magic powers. You've heard a lot of ads about the sushi in Vancouver. See how much you could save with the Home and Auto with the Shaman in the Jungle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term